Welcome. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the live stream. It's Monday the 16th, I think. I'm losing track of the days. We're all over the place. Welcome. What a day for it. What a day. Barclay, what's going on? Where did you go? We lost signal. So for those of you that don't know, earlier on today, we were doing a YouTube live stream out on the road, on the job, on the tools, and it was, I think it worked okay. It seemed alright. Oh, bollocks. I forgot to do the thumbnail. Oh, bollocks. Bear with. I just need to change the thumbnail of the stream. Oh, that's annoying. Spent a long time on that. Damn it. Confirm that it's really you. It is really me. It is. It's really me. Welcome, everyone. Evening, Glenn. Evening, LC Exterior. What's going on? Are you kidding? Guys, I'll be back in a sec. 2 secs. Got to confirm that it's really me. Yes, it's me. Thank you. Yeah, we did a live stream while we were clearing some guts earlier, and it went well. There weren't too many interruptions or anything. It was a bit awkward. The one phone was hotspotting from the other phone, which I was using as a camera, so they had to stay within close proximity, but other than that, it was okay. Wasn't too much of a problem. Resize image. JPEG. High quality. Save. Save. Do that. Bigger than 2 megabytes. Right, that's done. The thumbnail has been uploaded. We're good. The day has been saved. Welcome, everyone. Who have we got in here? Matt, welcome. You right, mate? Andrew, good evening. Paul, Ad. It's all going well. Yeah, we had to stop earlier on because we got to Sophie's sister's house to clean her guts, and we lost signal, and the stream kept being interrupted. So I don't know if we're going to make that a regular thing. It seemed quite clumsy and probably a bit boring. Oh, John, welcome, mate. Thanks for joining. John has become a circle member. That's awesome. Thanks, mate. Welcome. You can join the Discord now. I don't know if we'll make the On the Tools live streams a regular thing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I don't think the content is particularly thrilling, so I don't know. Maybe when if we've got a super interesting job that I want to film, we'll just film it for YouTube. I don't particularly want to do it for like a live stream. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. It was good to do a test though. I'm just not sure I should invest any more like money and energy trying to get it all set up. I've got an external microphone that I can plug into the bottom of my phone, because what I did was I've got my old phone, my old Pixel. I've taped a power bank to the bottom of it, because that's always the issue with live streaming on the go is your battery runs out quick. So I've got a power bank taped to the bottom of it, but while the power bank's plugged into the bottom of the phone, it means I can't plug in the microphone, because this is a decent microphone. Like, it clips onto your lapel like a lav mic, but you know, it's just all a bit awkward.
What is the Aqua Cleanse pure water you use like? I haven't measured it, and it's going to be different in different areas. It was coming out the brush nicely. I've got one of them testers where you can test the water, and I haven't done like a. I'm sure it does exactly what it says it does, but I'm trying to figure out exactly when I'm going to use it. I think I'm mainly going to use it on conservatory cleans. Tried it on some gutters, faces, and soffits, and it was fine. You know. Hi Tracy, you right, mate? Evening, Mark, Andy. We've got a special guest tonight. Can you use hypo on tarmac? No, I'd avoid it. No, you're going to stain it or bleach it. I'm not sure if it actually bleaches the tarmac itself or everything organic that's growing in the tarmac that makes it like sort of turn yellow and leave like a stain, like a bleach mark, or turn white. If you've ever put hypo on moss, it just turns white. And I'm not sure whether that's what's happening when you pour it on tarmac. It's just bleaching everything organic in the grains of the tarmac, or whether it actually bleaches the surface of the tarmac. I'm not too sure. Evening, Russ. Washi. Ooh, look at me. My name's Jake, and I'm home from work. Are you still at work? What did I win guessing Slate on the patio? You've won bragging rights. That is all, I'm afraid. You're still grafting sealing a drive at this time of night. Why are you when you say sealing a drive, what sort of sealing are you doing? And have you left it? Oh, it's weird lighting outside. It's like orange. Have you left it this late? They're providing beer. Nice. Have you left it this late on purpose because it's like the temperature's nice? Or have you sort of overran the job? We're not leaving. We've got a very special guest tonight. Connor's going to be joining me. And he's got a very successful exterior cleaning business, and he's also got an accountancy business, which I think those two cross over really nicely and should offer quite a lot of insight for us lot. You know what I mean? My machine on the last my machine on the last job, so we got here late. Oh, you're behind. Oh dear. Oh dear. For anyone that doesn't know already, me and Darren from PWS have organised a meetup. We've organised a sausage fest. It's on Facebook. You can join to let us know whether you're going to be coming or not. And it is literally, it's like a car show. It's going to be like a car show, but for pressure washers. So you can come, bring your van or your rig or whatever you've got, and we'll just chill in the car park, eat some breakfast. I think Darren's going to organise a breakfast van, and there'll be some fairly significant discounts by the sound of it. And it's just going to be a nice opportunity for us to all sort of meet each other and have some breakfast. October the 12th, Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning. Should go on till around about 2, depending on what happens. But I think there's going to be a couple of new products, and yeah, it should just be good. If anyone hasn't met Darren already, it'll be a good opportunity to meet Darren and the team at PWS. Just do a bit of networking. So join the Facebook group. Let us know whether you're coming or not, so we can figure out how many sausages we need. Who's coming? There's lots of people interested, but only 18 committed. Does that mean Chris from Pure Seal is coming, or does that just mean he's... Oh, that's invited, going. 15 going so far. There's me. There's Darren. Joseph Specky's coming. I've been in his vicinity, but I've never actually said hi to him. I met him at the not the Cleaning Expo just gone. The one before. AC pressure washers Conrad Greensmith. Looks like he's going, which would be nice to meet him. So yeah, join up. Is red sauce available, or is it just 1 week of the month? I'll bring some red sauce, but it's going to be Aldi's own. Jake, have you ever tried Wood X Pro from Softwash UK? Very good for brightening up the decking after cleaning. I haven't. The only product I've ever used on decking is Max Clean Pro and Biocide Back 50. And I used Back 50 recently, and it came up within the hour. It was like all the green had gone and it had brightened up. Back Clean 50 at about 30 to 1 to 30. But Steve Shires has been collaborating with Pure Seal, and they've made like an on the day, like I suppose it's a little bit like the Deck Clean Pro, but I think it's you don't have to mix it on site. It's just the product, you sort of spray it on, brightens the decking instantly, and it's safe. So I need to learn more about it before I start, you know, promoting anything, but that should be cool. You offering party buses from Cornwall to Scotland? Hello, David. You mean Back Clear Pro? What did I say? You want M&S? Honest opinion, Jake, leave the live unless it's full on work, as it was way too much gaps of absolutely nothing. Video are much better. Appreciate all the effort either way. Watched a little bit. Yeah, I think it was a bit pointless. It was because I've not got a microphone on, because it's not like a head camera, you can't see everything I'm doing. I had to sort of set the tripod up over in the corner. It was just super awkward. It weren't great. Did I say back clean? Back clear, I think I probably meant. They also do a bio clear as well, which I've used on a couple of roofs before, which work well. So you're saying Jake's lazy? No, I totally agree. It was clunky, and there's too much downtime. Jake trying to pretend he wasn't in the shot when you were driving. He was like, maybe I'm invisible. Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to be driving on stream. I got told off from TikTok for having the live stream set up, looking at me while I was driving, and I was the only one in the vehicle. So they ended the stream and like give me some sort of strike or something. Should we see if Connor's around? The live from earlier, not tonight. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Connor, if you're watching, mate, if you wanna join the chat like we did earlier, I'll drag you down. Here he is. Hello, matey. 2 seconds. Let me change my video, my audio. There we go.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Ooh.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me? Do. You might want to change your
Hello.
Hello. You might want to change your voice and video settings just to make sure it's coming through your earphones.
No, I can't hear you.
Let me send you a message. Go into Discord settings and change your voice video settings so it's coming through your headphones. Hi Jake, just thinking about getting set up with equipment. Can you recommend a gutter vacuum that will also remove pooling water, like the idea of an inspection camera? A gutter vacuum that will also remove pooling water. I think any of the wet vacs designed for gutters, you can just suck up the water. Can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you now, mate.
Hey, nice.
How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. Are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Let me just turn the live stream off.
You're looking
I
good,
can't see
mate.
you though.
You can't see me? Oh, I haven't got my camera on.
That's fine.
There we go. That should be better.
There we go.
You happy?
There we go. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. Your background is very posh, but it's mirrored. It's facing the wrong way.
Oh, really? That's not very good, is it?
It's alright. It's fine.
I'll turn that off.
Maybe
I'll just turn it
I
off.
wonder if I can flip you. That'll actually be too awkward. No,
There we go. It should be alright.
not to worry. What you been up to today?
Just working. I've had quite a few meetings today.
Are you is your connection better than that? Like, we're praying for like no tech issues tonight because your connection was playing up and now your camera was overheating as well. Is it sort of okay now?
Seems alright. Yeah, I set up the wide connection.
Nice.
And seems a bit better now.
Wicked. Awesome.
Has the background been turned off now? Should have been turned off, but it doesn't seem like it has.
It's still on my end, but it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's off now.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
So I don't know if you want to just briefly sort of introduce yourself, just so that people know who you are and what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, so, well, firstly, we'll be talking about whatever you ask me. And yeah, but a brief overview. I'm an accountant. I've been an accountant for quite a few years. I started my own exterior cleaning company about 2 years ago. So I'm sure we'll talk a bit about both of those topics. Yeah, I started an exterior cleaning company with my friend and ex-business partner. He's not in the business anymore. And I took over it myself about 6 months into starting it. We currently got 2 vans and a small cherry picker on the road, and most of my, well, now all of my time is spent on my accounts, working with my clients. A lot of exterior cleaners. Yeah, carry on.
I thought you started exterior cleaning first and then moved on to accounting. Oh, I've got it all wrong. I've got the thumbnail totally wrong. Have you seen the thumbnail?
Yeah, I realised. Yeah, and I also seen that you spelt my name horrendously wrong.
No.
As well.
Where?
It's one N and it's Ley for the last name.
Is that
no harm done?
Is that everywhere? Is that on the live stream? Is that? Oh my god, I'm gonna have to change it.
I just seen it. I just seen it on the title of the live stream.
Damn it! I'm gonna change it right now. I'm so sorry.
It's
so unprofessional. What is going on?
I know. No preparation. What is going on?
So, how long ago did you start? Do you have to do like training to be an accountant and stuff? I assume.
Yeah, I'm all qualified. I started in 2019. IIT qualified, regulated by IIT as well. And yeah, done a lot of experience. Worked with companies of all trades, all sectors, all turnover, multi-million-pound companies to your typical one-man bands. Yeah. So a lot of training, a lot of exams, but got there.
What made you decide to go from? Well, first of all, I don't know how you've got time to do both. Were you doing both at the same time, or did you go from accounting to exterior cleaning only, and then you're going slowly back into accounting now?
That's more, yeah, that's closer to it. So I started as an accountant first, now exterior cleaning. And that was about 5-6 years ago. And then about 2 years ago, just to kind of get out of employed, try myself in business. I still had my own clients on the side, but not that many. And then I went into exterior cleaning. And then, and now I'm full-time in the accounting as well. I mean, instead, I just have staff in the exterior cleaning.
So
I just work on sales and marketing really in my exterior cleaning at the moment.
Have you been on the tools? Have you been on the tools a decent amount with your exterior cleaning stuff, or is it mainly just sort of admin and marketing?
No, it's admin and marketing. I've been on the tools. To start it up, it was myself. To be fair, when I very first started, it was with my business partner, he was mainly on the tools then, and then I was working more on admin, sales, marketing, customer service, stuff like that. And he was doing the tools, but when he left the business, I picked up both essentially. So I took a bit of a break from the accountancy whilst I built that up.
Right.
And yeah.
You'll have to forgive me because when it comes to like, I was going to ask you a question about did you go into it, did you start it up being like back registered and being a limited company and stuff. I have no idea what I'm talking about with that sort of stuff, so you have to talk to me as if I'm a total, noob.
I'll try my best. I'll try my best.
Did you start as a limited company with the exterior cleaning?
Yeah, I always advise people if they're serious about growing a company, just to go limited as soon as you can. Really.
What makes you say that?
So there's a few different factors of why you should go limited company if you're taking the business seriously. So first, I'll explain why. I mean, if I'm going to advise someone to stay sole trader, I'll explain why first. And that is because if you're already making the money you want, you're not looking to really grow into multiple vans or anything. And yeah, you're happy with the amount of tax you pay, the amount of money you make. I'd say just stay sole trader.
Mm-hmm.
Limited companies, anything that sits outside of that for me. So I think, especially in exterior cleaning, where the barrier to entry is quite low,
mm-hmm.
people can just buy the equipment on finance. They don't even need a large amount of money in the big picture to set yourself apart from people in the industry, especially when you're going into commercial work and council work. It's just another box tick for those companies, those clients, really. So it's hard. It's much harder to get commercial work and especially council work if you're a sole trader. So if you're trying to grow a company, it's hard to really grow too much with just residential, I think, in exterior cleaning and all other trades, by the way. It's not just exterior cleaning. Yeah, I'd say limited companies have win commercial contracts. A lot of big companies won't work with non-VAT registered or sole traded companies. That's the reason. So that's one reason. Yeah, carry on.
Sorry if I keep interrupting you. It's because there's a slight delay on the stream.
No problem.
I mentioned on the stream a couple of weeks ago. My brother used to work as a project manager for a big haulage company. He said the same thing. He said, if we need to hire external contractors and stuff, we won't touch any sort of one-man bands. No one without a website and a team, proof that you can take on this kind of work, because it's just going to waste our time if you don't do the job properly, basically.
Yeah. They see it as reliability. So they see it as if you've got one member of staff, or if it's just you and you fall off your scaffold tail one day, but you've got a whole contract, a yearly contract to fulfill, which is what these offer you when you get those type of contract, that type of work. You're not going to be able to fulfill it, and then they're going to have to go through the whole process of vetting, cause loads of admin, and be a total loss. So especially bigger companies, and especially the council. For window cleaning, sometimes it's a little bit different, but for like pressure washing and roof cleaning and window cleaning, brick cleaning contracts, it's going to be really. With a limited, you can kind of hide. Even if you're quite small, you can kind of hide behind a limited company and seem bigger than you are.
Yeah.
So
it's about like optics and looking more professional, sort of larger scale. But I suppose, being a limited company, have you just got the one staff member, or have you got multiple?
I got one now. I've had a few.
I was going to say, because you mentioned earlier when we were doing a quick test that you've been through about, did you say 6 or 7?
About 6 to 8 or something. Yeah. It's hard to find the right stuff, really, in this type of work. Anyone good enough will start on the roll, and then it's hard enough to find someone good enough in the first place temporarily, which I think you've done quite well, because your guy seems quite good.
Jakey's amazing. Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better first employee. So you went into exterior cleaning with a business partner, and then
my best friend. Yeah.
Right, and then did you start employing people because you wanted to sort of get off the tools, or was it just because you wanted to take on bigger projects?
Well, it's always about getting off the tools first, and then to market your way into getting. It's that you can't afford the stuff until you've got the work, really, can't you? So you have to, unless you've got a big bank balance. Just get off the tools. He was doing most of the work in the first van that we had anyway. So even when I was on the tools and just helping him, I would just work on sales and marketing. And then once we got the second van, then we started looking at labourers and employees.
So for you, is the key to expanding, becoming a limited company, finding a way of getting off the tools as quick as possible, so that you can sit back and manage the business rather than trying to sort of run the business day to day? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's impossible to do both. It's impossible to do both. Really, it's hard to do both anyway. Not impossible.
Is that always the goal? Should that always be the goal for business, is to grow and expand? Or like you said earlier, like, no. Can you, I suppose you can get to the point where you're satisfied with your income and you like the, sorry, I'm just going to turn my speakers off. And you like the sort of work-life balance that you've got at the moment.
Oh, it's definitely, it's personal. I think what I work, so for some of my clients, depending on what package they join me, I work on whatever. First call I have is figuring out what goals I have, and everyone comes out with a different answer. No one's got the same answer for this. Not everyone wants 10 vans and 20 staff.
That seems to be the assumption. Is that the goal is to expand and expand? Things are going well. Oh, you need to get another van. You need to get another employee. You need to do this and that. It's like, hang on.
I think with that, it's when you're getting a lot of inquiries and you're charging good money, it's hard not to expand anyway, because you can't keep up with the work. So you need to get another van on the road, or you need to get another member of staff. But no, it's not. It's definitely not the goal for everyone. I mean, and that's absolutely fine. A lot of people actually make more money low down than in the growth stage. So in that stage where they've got a few vans, someone that's just a one-man band can often but sometimes make more profit than the one with the 3 vans. But the difference is the lifestyle. So the people with the 3 vans are aiming to not work on a business usually. So they take the low profit margin to sit back and not have to do the work.
Right.
But to do that and be satisfied with the amount of money, you have to have a few vans. You can't just do that off one van, really. It's hard to, anyway.
Yeah. And so, from your experience, if someone was in that position and they're ready to sort of take the next step, how would you suggest that they go about stepping back and getting off the tools? Because in my experience so far, just employing my first employee, I wouldn't say I've got trust issues, but like I've got a very high standard that I'm trying to achieve with my work. And for me to just train someone up quickly and then let them sort of go out on their own is like quite scary.
It is, yeah. It's your livelihood is dependent on what they do at the end of the day. So, so your question is, how do you actually go about coming off the tools? Is that what you're asking? So?
Yeah. Is there like a is there a strategy, or is it business to business? Do you know what I mean?
So a good training plan and quality assurance, which just means make sure that the work's being done correctly. So in your case, where you want the work to be very high standard, which everyone should be, you have to have like your written out processes and consequences for staff not actually keeping up with that quality that you're setting out at the start. Communication with the employee as well is massive on that. You have to be able to set the standards and also make sure they're sticking to it as well, which is also a hard task in itself. I think the biggest problem people have with being able to grow is lead flow, especially in exterior cleaning where it's kind of up and down and seasonal. It's hard to have consistent lead inquiries coming in like every day or a certain amount a week.
Just so you know, I'm not getting distracted doing other stuff on my phone. I'm taking notes so that I can come back to some of the things you've said. So sorry, carry on.
That's fine. So marketing channels, I think, is the biggest thing. With enough inquiries, you can, as long as the vans are full, because also when you do start to grow, it's very easy to lose money, and it's very easy to lose a lot of money very quickly as well. So you have to have enough inquiries coming in. So marketing is massive. So yeah, that's problem 1, getting enough work. Then 2, it's finding the right staff, and then 3, it's about keeping the quality. I think once you're able to do all of those, you can kind of just I mean, some people getting a van on the road without doing as much work as it seems.
So the first step really is generating enough leads so that you can justify employing someone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You need to know that it's all about managing the risk, isn't it? So you have to have confidence in the fact that if you pull a van on the road and you put an employee or two employees in it, you have to know that work's going to be booked up. Because if you have employment contracts in place and if the employees have been with you a certain amount of time, you risk having to lay them off and pay redundancy. So there's much more risk involved. But as long as you've got enough work coming in,
I think
it's better to have too much work than not enough work, is what I'm saying. So marketing channels is the most important thing to growth.
My issue when it came to employing Jakey or looking into employing Jakey was, like you say, about it being seasonal and not knowing if I could afford to pay him in the winter. And I've only got one bad year under my belt where it didn't go very well, and I sort of had to go back to my previous employer I was on a 0-hour contract anyway, but I had to go back to my previous employer just to sort of make up some hours because I didn't have. Oh, is he gone?
No, I'm still here. My camera's just turned. Yeah, I am listening.
So I didn't know, like, so my first year was rough. I was like, I can't even afford to sort of pay myself because I haven't got enough. You still there? So I try turning my camera off. Might be tech issues. Is it your camera or stream? Sorry about this, guys. We'll be back shortly.
There we go. Sorry about that.
How's he back? What was it, mate?
I might have on it. It swapped when I sorted my camera out.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my first winter was crap. And then my second winter, I had my brother with me, and he was bringing in loads of commercial work because he was sending out emails at all times of the night and really pushing. And we had, the winter months were some of the best I've had in business, throughout the whole time that I've been in business. But then I was getting to the point where I knew the summer was going to be super busy, and it's like, I think I need to employ someone, but I still don't know if I can pay them over the winter.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know whether I would have been better off. Not that I've got any regrets, but I don't know whether I'd have been better off just creating like a bigger waiting list for my customers and saying, like, I can't fit you in for the next 2.5 months or whatever, or taking on an employee, smashing out, then having a really good summer, and just risking having a quiet winter. But
well, you already know what works, don't you? You said that your brother was doing certain things to bring the work over the winter. You just need to double down on that.
I'm a skeptic, and I think, that was just luck. That was just pure luck.
It's never luck.
Don't you think?
No, it's never luck. If it was, you said he was up doing emails at all times of the night. That's just the result of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Do you think everyone should employ someone? Do you think everyone's the sort of person that can employ someone, or I think people need to look at their sort of character traits if they've never been in a position of like a management position before. I've been in quite a few, and I've thought, I'm not sure if I'm like the best manager. Mm-hmm. I've been in positions where I've either tried to be too firm or too friendly, and I can't seem to find the line. And so that's what I was worried about when I was employing Jakey, is that, like, am I going to be able to negotiate this line?
Yeah, I mean, is everyone meant to be a boss? I mean, you don't know until you try, do you? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You have to try to know that, really.
The impression I get is that people in small business or like exterior cleaning or carpentry or whatever tend to just sort of employ their mate. And then I can imagine it's probably quite hard to start doing things professionally, like you say, writing out processes and training plans and 3-month reviews and all that sort of stuff. If it's your mate,
it is hard. I've done it as well in the exterior cleaning. It never works out, really. You can't keep that same level of quality. People expect you to treat them as a friend, which is obviously your fault for employing them, considering they're a friend. But yeah, it's not. It is. If you're just getting a labourer and you're in charge of dealing with a customer, making sure that the house is spotless before you leave, then I don't think it doesn't really matter too much. But if you're looking for them to be the main operative, customer facing, then you can't employ a friend, really. In most cases, anyway.
Would that be the same for family as well?
I mean, it depends on the person, I guess. But like, I think like your brother, it's your brother, isn't it?
Yeah.
The guy who he was working with. I think that it seemed like that was better, but that I think family's actually, as long as it depends on the type of person, really, because you can have family members that are idiots and you can have family members that are not.
Yeah.
It just depends on the person. It's just the same with an employee. Like the best thing about having employing someone who's you already know is you already know how they are with an employee, and they're just sending in a CV through Indeed or whatever, however you recruit them. You have to guess. You have to guess based on what they're saying, and then you have to wait to see, and you have to deal with any consequences if you get it wrong.
I think that's why like a clear probation period is quite important. Just like, so we're both clear, 3-month probation period. Let's see how you get on. Is there anything else you can do? I mean, can you get into some of the issues you had with those other 7 or 8 employees before you found the one that was really the one?
Yeah, I mean, just reliability mainly. Exterior cleaning runs on a tight schedule to make decent money. You have to do a certain amount of jobs per week, or you have to turn over a certain amount, the same as any business. But it's harder work than people think. So when they first start and they're doing sweeping up and bagging moss up and stuff, it's a lot. It seems easy, but when they start getting on the scaffold terrace to do booth cleaning and dealing with a 30-foot pole, it's a bit different. So it's just reliability was the main thing for me. It's very hard to find someone who can turn up on time, turn up every day, do the work to a good standard. You just have to kind of go through the amount of people it takes, and when it does, you have to be able to look after them. And I think that's hard for some people because they don't charge enough to the customers, so they can't pay them staff good enough and just rinse them. They just go through so many stuff over the year.
Yeah, I think I'm quite risk averse, whereas my brother was telling me like, this is the time to start expanding, like you're doing well, keep this momentum sort of thing. But I'm sat back thinking, but what if they call in sick? What if they're late all the time? What if they're scruffy? What if this? And he's like, you can't worry about all that now. You just got to sort of focus on expanding the business. But I think that's where
it depends on what you want now. It depends on how the main question you need to ask yourself is how much money do I want to make and how much do I want to work. Once you've got those two bits of information, what I do for my clients is create an annual budget, taking into consideration seasonality, and then you can pull a member of staff in there and you figure out how much you need to charge per day or per service for each job. And can you get away with that? Are you going to convert the leads? And we work out all of that, and then you just stick to a plan. So it's all about having that financial plan is the most important thing.
You just mentioned budgets. Can I ask you a random question?
Carry on.
What do you think is reasonable for? I mean, you're in the exterior cleaning industry, so you sort of know what to expect. But what do you think is reasonable for a day rate? Because I don't work in day rates. I work in square meterage. But a lot of people say.
Well, everyone works in day rates. Is what I will first say. You do work in a day rate because if you work on a square meter rate, even so, if you're gonna clean 50 metres squared of block paving, but it's going to take you all day. You're not going to charge £3.50 or £4 per square metre, but it's going to take 2 days for some reason, drainage, or you got to keep moving the car around. Look, whatever the reason is, look, as a hypothetical, you would bump that day up. It's going to take 2 days. I can't charge my normal rates. But yeah, sorry, carry on. Yeah.
No,
A bit off topic.
that's basically what I was asking. What do you think would be like a reasonable day rate?
Someone just said in the chat that they can't hear me. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you perfectly fine.
Oh.
And I can see your audio's coming through on the stream fine as well.
Oh, okay. I'll just put that go. A reasonable day rate. Reasonable.
For someone who's fully trained, doing virtually everything that you'd expect that they should be able to do, you know what I mean?
What, for a day rate to pay the employee or for your business?
Both. As a labourer,
Okay.
And I mean, for me, I suppose for my business, it's going to be whatever I want to earn, isn't it? But for a labourer, there's probably like a industry standard, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. It's between 80 and 120 a day, and then that's just for a very basic labour. But I think people do and will pay more to do more if they're cleaning the driveway.
Yeah.
Whilst you're taking phone calls, then that's more valuable. You should pay them more, really. Between 80 and 130 odd days, I'd say actually, is for someone to be a labourer and do the work.
Okay.
But it's just about how much you can pay them to keep them, because you're not going to keep someone on £70-80 a day.
Yeah.
For 10 years, who's got a family to feed?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to say like how much you should pay someone. You have to look at it at a case by case, really.
Yeah, that was a very broad question, I suppose.
But a day rate for what people charge out, I mean, I'd say I'll try and focus more on a monthly figure, just because it's hard to predict daily.
Yeah.
I mean, people in the industry make anywhere from it's not great on the low end of schedule, and between 2 and 10k a month per van, really, profits. But it just depends on how established they are, what type of work they're doing, how long they're working per day, what location they're in. You know.
Are you sort of working out per van then, per employee per van?
Well, it depends. Some people have one person to a van, and some people have 2 people to a van.
Yeah.
So it's hard. But I mean, I'm just talking about now, like what people want to and do earn in the industry.
Yeah.
It's such a broad range because everyone just has different goals, better sales processes, better customers. It's so hard to say what the average person makes, but you know, a lot of people make like 40 to 80k a year is quite common. Window cleaners, pressure washers.
Yeah, that was just a little one for me, really. Just looking at what I should be aiming for Jakey.
Okay. So for an employer, yeah, it depends on what they do.
Yeah, and with experience, I want to pay him as much as I possibly can. The more he's doing for me, the more I'd like to be able to pay him.
I think bonus schemes are the best way. It helps keep the quality. I think
bonus schemes.
People, yeah. I think if they hit certain targets for the week, or they get a certain amount of reviews, you pay them a certain amount.
Okay. So this will probably be the point where they're out on their own, and you say, look, if you can do all the jobs that I'm putting in for you, and you can get 4 reviews, 5 reviews this month or whatever, then you get a little cheeky bonus at the end of it or something.
Yeah, because then if people know that, okay, if I get 5 reviews a week, or even for window cleaners, it's a lot more because I have more customers. But yeah, if a certain amount of reviews a week, you get an extra £20 or whatever, and then over the month they can make an extra £100. They're gonna try and do it because it's not going to take them any extra work if they're doing the work to a high standard anyway. Yeah, and they're going to aim for it, and they're going to ask the customer, so it takes a bit of the admin off you afterwards as well. And then if they have a card reader, then they can take a payment, and it slowly starts to take your responsibilities away.
Do you think card readers are worth doing?
I think it's just, I mean, we use one, but we only use it for people who like to pay with credit cards mainly, because credit cards provide a bit more. What's the word?
Security.
Yeah, if they get scammed, like they got more chance of claiming it back. Obviously, I don't know what. I've had some customers do it. It's just good to have the option.
Yeah. By the way, can you see the chat? You can see the chat at the moment, can't you?
I can see the chat. Yeah, I've got it on my phone.
So if anyone's got any questions for Conor regarding, this is like a good crossover in terms of subjects, because it's not only Conor's insight into like exterior cleaning as a whole, but also accountancy. Is your accountancy business sort of targeting customized for like exterior cleaners, or is it like a general? Do you take on all clients? You know what I mean?
I take on service providers. So if for many products-based companies, well, for products-based companies, I don't really take on. Service-based companies, a lot of exterior cleaners. I've got a lot of exterior cleaning customers mainly from the Facebook groups, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then referables from there, and then just tradesmen, construction companies, but digital marketers. It's anyone that provides a service and they're not selling products.
Yeah.
I can help those customers more, so I tend to stick to that, really.
So if anyone's in the chat that's got any questions for those sort of topics, Conor can see the chat, I can see it as well, and we'll pause every now and again just to check what the questions are that are coming through. David's got a good one. Conor, how did you cope with the 90-day waiting time to get paid by councils and other commercial jobs?
So 90-day terms mainly just happens with the council, really. You can do a few things. You can have an invoice financing facility. They release the money to you instantly. So the process with that is you submit your invoice to the invoice finance facility. They confirm with your customer that that's a legitimate invoice. They pay you out the money and they take a fee, and then it moves the responsibility of collecting the payment to that invoicing facility company.
That's
something I do.
What sort of fee do they take? Do you know?
So it depends how many invoices they go off how many invoices you submit to them each month. There's something called I think it's called spot invoicing, and that's just like ad hoc here and there. And they charge a bit more than not charge. And it also depends on the invoice value. So if it's 3,000, they're going to take a lot more than if it's 50,000. So if I know that there's some with a lot of invoices for certain, like they send a lot of invoice every week. They just work with commercial mainly, and then they only take a very small fee, like less than 1% or 1% or 2% or something. But spot invoicing, they take a bit more, closer to like 10% if it's just like a one-off invoice. But then again, you can charge that. You add that onto your. Well, I would usually if I know that the invoice, if they've told me their terms and it's going to be 90 days or 60 days, then I'll just add a bit onto the invoice in preparation to do that with the invoice facility.
Do you let them know that that's what you're doing, or is it just come under the total cost?
Yeah, it's put it in the total cost, really.
Because that's I've never heard of that, and that's a great idea. Because I've been messed around by a few schools now, and also quite a few of the jobs I'm doing recently are like oil spills from garages on driveways. Okay. And so the customer's not paying, the garage will be paying. And I've not even bothered, I'm ordering like 300-400 quid's worth of sealer. And I'm just thinking there's no point in just trying to go to the garage, just try and get a deposit to cover the cost of materials and stuff, because it's just their payment terms are just, it's 90 days, isn't it, most of the time? So I'm just going to be asking for payment twice.
It's more so like 30 days, I find, for commercial, or 30-day end of month. So in the 30 days and then the end of that month. Yeah. Next month, basically.
This is another one for me as well. How do you navigate that when it comes to? Because I could be a customer that says, "Oh, Citroen have spilt oil on my drive. Can you quote it?" And then I write back and say, they've accepted the quote. Can you do the work? And then I've got no proof that Citroen have said yes. Yeah, we'll cover the cost of the work. How do you navigate that sort of situation? Because I suppose
you just ask for proof from the customer. I would just say, all right, to start the work, we'll need the email confirmation or something that they've accepted.
Yeah.
They've accepted the quotes, basically.
Yeah, I should have done
I
that.
would never just go off. Yeah, I would never just go off. Because they'll say all sorts of.
Yeah, I mean,
you're probably going to be okay, look, to be honest, but it's worth covering the package just in case.
Yeah, especially if I'm paying out for materials out of my own pocket as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have to always for like garages. You don't always have to go off their terms. You can state in your quote that you're giving them 30-day or 30-day end of month, whatever you're happy with, and anything past that is charged interest on.
Ooh.
Or you can do that. You're absolutely fine to do that. Or you can, but you do that anyway, and then you can offer a prompt payment discount and 2% off the bill if they pay like within a week.
Oh, I like that.
A lot of people do it. I mean, because for commercial customers, they know they're going to pay that anyway. They're going to pay that bill regardless, and therefore, I might as well just save the 2%. They got the money in the bank. They might as well just do it. The only reason I have 30-day terms is just cash flow reasons.
And would you just put that at the bottom of the quote? Because at the moment, my quote says payment terms are 7 days. But like my brother sort of said, well, if they're like a bigger entity than what you are, then they dictate the payment terms.
It's true to some extent. Yeah, it is true. You have to work with them. If you want to work, you have to work with them.
Yeah.
But the smaller commercial companies, like if it's a small garage, for example, I mean, if it's a small garage, you would expect payment terms like within a few days, really. But it's up to you. You dictate it. If you sent them the quote and they agree to it, then they're bound by those terms.
True. So if the wording is, you've got a single page quote, you've got the price, you've got your payment terms underneath. If they've said yes, then they've agreed to everything that's on that bit of paper, I suppose, haven't they? So. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, especially if you have it's good if you have software like I always use Zero on my clients. Most of my clients use.
You use what? Sorry, Zero.
Yeah, it's an accountancy software.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've heard it. You send out the quotes. You can see when they view the quotes if you send it out, and then they accept the quote online. So all terms are. You pull in your terms at the bottom of the quote valid for 30 days or whatever. If accepted terms are this, and then even you can go even further and send them a terms and conditions after if you really want.
That's interesting. I didn't know you could do like late payment fees or like interest and early payment discounts and stuff. I haven't even thought about that. I think Soph does that at work because Soph's an accountant or training.
Really?
Well, she's training. I think she's level 2 now. I think.
Yeah. IIT.
Yeah. She's she works for a commercial flooring company, and I think they do that where if they pay early, they get like a discount or something. I'm not too sure.
All commercial companies do it.
Right.
Well, all ones that are looking to boost cash flow. If people have got, some companies have got like £1 million in the bank, low overheads, so that they don't care about waiting the extra few days, extra week or so. They won't offer it because it's all about profitability then. But if you strap for cash flow and especially for like smaller companies, one-man bands or got just a couple of staff, that money's better in the bank than it is sitting in an invoice. Don't know when it's going to come in.
Yeah.
So it's always best to cash flow is everything. Companies only go bust for running out of cash, not running out of profit, is what I say.
Yeah, and I suppose for a smaller company, it's easier. Well, for like a new entity, like a small exterior cleaning business, it's very easy to run out of money quickly when you've got like a quiet couple of months.
And also, that money goes a lot further for them people as well. So at the start, we had commercial work because I know this painter from one of my clients, and he does like all the cladding painting, so it needs cleaning before the cladding gets painted. And we done that invoice finance because we could buy some equipment with that money that was outstanding. So instead of waiting the 45 days that we had left, we actually made more money by just taking a hit on the initial payment by getting equipment and then able to do better price work.
Okay, that leads me on to another question that I had. Is that in general, would you suggest that a small new business, specifically exterior cleaning, there's a hell of a lot of equipment that you can buy in this industry. Would you suggest that you do your best to save up and buy it with your own money and own it, or would you suggest that that it's more sensible to sort of spread the cost, loans, finance, all that sort of stuff?
It's a good question because it is dependent on the individual. Like some people really do not like owing money out, so I mean they're going to choose not just to save up. I like finance. I like loans. I don't mind taking out loans to buy certain things. I'd rather use someone else's money to buy the stuff. What I would suggest is if you're going to take out loans, don't buy brand new stuff. That's gonna, as soon as you buy it, you lose a few £1,000 on it. Especially when you're starting a new business that isn't tested, that you haven't tested, you don't know how to get the customers or anything. Like a lot of people in any company, any industry actually, take a loan out, buy second hand. If all goes tits up, then you can sell it for the same amount or very similar amount. You're not really out of pocket too much.
Yeah, I think my philosophy from the beginning, the way I did it was, look, I don't even know if I enjoy this sort of work yet. So why would I spend 5 to 10 grand on equipment when I don't even know whether this is for me? I don't know whether I can generate work. I don't know whether I'm going to give up halfway through a job and think, fuck this, I can't. This is not for me, because I've never really been in a position where I've been I've done like heavy labour. I've always been in sort of retail or sat behind a desk. So this was totally new for me. But I started out cheap, and I had a couple of £100, and I thought I'm just going to buy cheap equipment and just see how far it gets me. And I think that's good if you're brand new to the business, and then when you're ready to take it seriously and you know that you can generate customers, that's probably a good time to then start thinking about loans and finance. But if you're brand new to the business, even if you've got your own money, 5-10 grand sat in the bank, I'm still not sure that I would recommend that someone pours all that into a new business, like a new venture that they haven't tried before.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, especially if it's all their money that they've got in their account. I usually wouldn't recommend that. It's the same argument with when you should turn limited as well, really. But on this, I wouldn't say just to pour all your money into it. If you can take a loan out and buy second hand, or do what you've done, start very cheap. I mean, like start with just cheap equipment, test the water, see how you're going to get the inquiries, because the inquiries are everything. I mean, you can not like the work and you've still got loads of work. If it pays good, most people are going to choose to do it to pay the bills, feed the family. So at least find a way that you're going to get customers. I see a lot of people dropping £10,000-15,000 on van and equipment, and that haven't got like 2 days booked of the week. I mean, of the month. So I mean, try the work, like you said, buy cheap pressure washer, find out friends and families. Can you see yourself doing it for the price that you're able to charge? Then invest. Then find actually a way to how are you going to generate consistent customers, especially if you've got family bills, and then invest. And then it's probably fine to it's fine to use either a loan or a bank. You have to get a proven marketing strategy first. I'd say is the most important thing.
I think that leads us on quite nicely to marketing. Well, first of all, what sort of services do you offer? Is it predominantly like roof cleaning, driveways, patios, conservatories?
We offer everything but window cleaning, basically. The one van that I don't go out and work with is roof cleaning, and then we do cladding cleaning and brick cleaning. So the three main services are cladding, brick, and roof cleaning.
When you say brick cleaning, is that like commercial sort of acid washing on new builds and stuff, or?
No, so we don't do much of that. I've quoted loads, but the always cancel. I've won a decent amount of work on it, and it's been booked in, and they cancel. I've actually done a couple of care homes, actually, new post construction. We've done a couple of those, but it's mainly just brick cleaning for residential properties. I mean, I rank quite high for brick cleaning in the West Midlands, in certain areas, and it's just mainly just residential brick cleaning. People just got dirty bricks, or they've had post construction. But yeah,
from what I've seen and heard, sort of on the grapevine, when it comes to the acid washing, new build plots and stuff. Seems to be like whoever's cheapest.
It is, to be honest.
They're not really bothered about the quality.
It's whoever's cheapest or quickest sometimes. Whoever's got the soonest availability, and then it's pros.
Yeah,
and it's all. I don't like that type of. I'd try not to win it, to be honest. I focus quite high for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to be that guy that's just doing the cheapest, fastest work.
Especially when you're working with acid. I mean, you're risking a lot of health problems really if you don't do it properly. You're not protected properly.
Oh, I've seen some videos. Yeah, it's shocking what people will do on a site as well. Yeah. On a site.
I know. I know. Actually, what I'm pretty sure I know what you want to
do. Keith Robinson says hi. Everyone else is saying I can hear you fine, so that's good. Before you know it, they have their own van on the road, building up their setup. They'll work for you while they get ready to go out on their own. Yeah, I mean, what's your stance on that when it comes to? Are you happy training someone up to eventually go out on their own? Are you expecting it, or are you trying to do everything you can to sort of keep them?
It's about keeping them for as long as possible. Someone's good. As soon as you find someone good, you have to either pay them enough and give them a good enough work environment to think, is it even worth it? If someone's making 40k, if you're paying someone like 40k a year with holiday, all that pension, then once I crunch the numbers, it's actually I think I find it better when you're actually more open about the numbers. It's hard to hide it from especially when some customers paying cash and they see a stack of money, like a thick stack of money, and they think I could just be doing this myself. But I think if you're open about one, the money, and two, how much it costs, because it's not cheap. Equipment, when customers cancel, you lost a day's work, or equipment breaks, you need to buy a £2,000 pressure washer, or whatever. It's expensive. Marketing is very expensive if you're going down different. If you're like trying to grow the business, especially. I've lost track of what I was talking about.
That's all right.
What did you say originally? Sorry, I do this as well.
No, it's all right. It was just about risking them going off on their own and doing their own thing.
Oh yeah. So it's always going to happen in every industry. Everyone you have to deal with.
But also not everyone, like you say, not everyone's made for business. And if your employee is quite happy doing what they're doing, and you give them a comfortable sort of lifestyle, and the work isn't absolutely shit that they're getting every day, and that's what I'm trying to do for Jakey. Like we've got a mixed bag of all different types of work, and sometimes we get some shit work, and sometimes we get some we have some great days, we have some early finishes, and we get some good lunch. And
I see you, yeah.
And so I just try and make it like a nice environment, because I'm not going to get him going off doing work that I wouldn't want to do myself, because at that point it's not fun anymore, and I'm trying to have fun while I'm doing this. I'm not just trying to make as much money as physically possible.
I mean, the risk's always there. People are going to start to. A lot of people will, but a lot of people won't as well. So it's just a numbers game. It's how many you're going to have to go through a certain amount, aren't you?
Thank you so much. Okay. Look at that for service, mate.
What's that? Coffee?
Iced coffee.
Oh, I don't like coffee myself.
Yeah, I wanted to get into a little bit of what you'd recommend, because you're clearly a marketing guy as well. When it comes to like the quieter months, have you got any strategies to keep? I would argue that in my position, it's been fairly simple to generate leads and interest over the summer, because I've just been doing the same old strategy of posting on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that sort of stuff. And the work tends to sort of organically roll in. I don't see it as marketing. I just see it as sort of content.
It is marketing. It is marketing.
Yeah. I've never really delved into... I mean, I've got a website. I'm not really focusing too much on the website. I've never really paid for ads or anything like that. So have you got any strategies that have worked for you that you'd recommend for people just starting out, or maybe this is someone's first winter?
For winter, I mean, you have to look at you have to prepare as well. You have to if you're busy in the summer, you have to also in the summer and the spring preparing for the winter, especially if you're not established. You need to focus on certain surfaces, brick roof and gutters really, or window cleaning. I mean, the window cleaning is massive as well. A lot of people like to have the window cleaning because the money still comes in over the winter, and then just they do smash the rest of the workouts in the summer. Some people just work in spring and summer, charge enough, and then take and the autumn, so and take the winter off. There's a few people that do that.
So would you start advertising for those services like roof cleaning, brick cleaning, gutters? Would you start doing that now, or have you got just like a constant rollout of content and adverts?
Having a ranking website is, when I say invest early on, I mean if you haven't got if you've just starting out, especially you've got a website but it's not ranking well. For those 6 months, it takes a good 6 months to rank a website in certain areas, and it's still not ranked at the best it will be. But you will get inquiries if it's ranked well. So you have to be paying for that. But I have a guy that I use SEO. Within a few months, I was getting commercial. Cladding is another one for the winter as well.
What sort of money are you putting into someone doing that for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Of course, no. I don't mind answering any questions. SEO, it depends on how many locations you cover, what radius you cover, how many towns you want to specifically target. I pay about £300 and something a month, or £400, £300 a month for the exterior cleaning. But he has given me a decent deal because I had my exterior cleaning website. He's working on my accountancy website, and I do SEO, and I've given him clients as well. So it does me a decent deal. But I think anywhere between £300 and £600 a month, which is not cheap.
To just get a professional to do it, and it's being taken care of.
Yeah, I'd say get a professional to do it. But I mean, if you haven't got money, then do it yourself, because, well, you've got no choice really. But at least be working on it yourself. And some people don't use a professional, but it depends on what you want to be spending your time on really. Because if you're working in a business a lot, it's going to be hard to start writing out web pages on the evening, get back to your calls on top of everything else with life. And if you've got the money, I think yeah.
Do you need to be like active? Do you need to keep putting content out to sort of rank? Because I don't know how any of that sort of stuff works. Like, do you need to keep updating your website? Do you need to keep updating your Google pages and stuff? Or if someone's taking care of it all for you, you build the website, you build your Google page and your socials, and as long as they're up and active, can that person take care of it for you and take it from there? Or do you need to constantly sort of pump content into them and change them every now and again? Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't really speak to him. It's mainly the setup. The biggest time thing is the setup. So you pay for the setup, and then reviews. So Google obviously have different factors. I'm not an expert at this, by the way. I don't do SEO. I'd rather give it. The guy I use is really good, so I just trust him with it. Backlinks, content, like, so when you type in a service like brick cleaning Birmingham, for someone to optimize a page, that's the initial setup, and then it's about, I think they change the content every few months, like here and there, just to keep the page active, and then they create backlinks from other sites into your web page. Right. So Google sees it as more trusted, I think, and then ranks it higher over time. But once it's high, it's hard to drop too much. You can drop like a couple of spaces, but if you're, especially for yourself, how you use YouTube and all the video, which is very good for SEO, I think. If you direct people into them pages and show that there's traffic there, your website will shoot up, I believe.
I didn't think of that. That makes sense.
I think the Joseph Specker, I think he does that.
Right, okay. What was I going to say? I had a really good question then. Bloody hell. I'm going to keep thinking while we go over to the YouTube chat. Have you spotted any questions that you want to...
Hello, Luke. Luke Bailey, he does all the graphic design. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good at that. Yeah, he does all my graphics. Very good. Let me go back up a little bit.
I can see me being a bit like Connor. I'm reasonably competent with accounting. Have went through 2 years of AAT before company sacked me on apprenticeship. Question for Connor and Jake. I'm self-employed exterior cleaner and looking to take on someone in the future. Is there a certain earning, for example, 50 grand a year before I think of employment? This was kind of the question I was hinting at earlier. Sort of, when do you know you're ready?
That's what the annual budget is so important for that I was speaking of earlier. So the questions to create an annual budget are: how much money do you want to make a month or year? And how much are you willing to work? How many days a week you work? Then you understand how much you need to charge out to cover your costs. So if you're very new, then it's all speculation. But if you've got some history of like bank statements and stuff, you already know how much you're spending every month on your overheads.
But is it how much money do you want per month, or how much money do you need per month to cover your mortgage and all that sort of stuff?
It's a bit of both, really. I think if you grow in a company, you just take out what you need to have the best shot at growing it. Most people just take out, I need £2,000 a month after tax to pay my bills. So then we work out how much profits I need to make, work out how much cost I have, then we work out how much we need to make per day or per week, which then gives you a day rate to aim for. And then anything on top is what you want. You want to try and at least that's like a minimum what you want, and then you try and charge a bit more if you can. So then in the annual budget, so an annual budget is for the next 12 months, so it's all speculation. You put the staff, how much the staff's going to cost you. So you put their wage, if you're putting them on an employment contract, paying them PAYE, which you should really legally. Then you pull in like pension contributions, employers' national insurance. Then you have to account for paying them what they're not earning if they go on out on their own. So if holiday, bank holidays, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've just started, like, it's not just whether you can afford this person, whether you can afford their wage every month. It's the things that you don't think about on top of that, like the national insurance, the pension, the holiday, the sick. It's so much more than just their wage.
Yeah.
I'm paying my accountant £50 a month just to sort his tax out, so I don't need to worry about his contributions and stuff, just so I'm not making any mistakes, because I don't want to have to do all that sort of stuff myself.
What when the payroll 50?
Yeah. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's usually a minimum charge, really, £50 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like myself, if you take more services, then I usually do payroll for free, especially if you're just one employee. Are you on the payroll as well? Oh no, you're not a limited company.
No.
How come you're not a limited company, by the way? What's your reason?
I've not looked into it enough to give you an honest answer.
Fair enough. I actually only got to one point of why you should. What I usually recommend. That was commercial seriousness, like how serious commercial companies are going to take it. Limited liability is a massive one. I've got a couple of clients going through some bad financial happenings because they're a sole trader, which could have been avoided if there was a limited company. One's gone bankrupt and one's about 20k in debts. Just off the top of my head, there is a couple more, and that would have been so. People say like you can protect your assets more, but it's more than that. If you don't even have any assets, you're still risking bankruptcy. As a sole trader, the risk of bankruptcy is higher. Sorry, if you have something that comes back or an insurance claim, your insurance doesn't cover it. You've got to pay out a lot of money. You can't pay it, then your credit report will be.
Yeah. So, am I right in saying, as a sole trader, if you get into debt and you owe money, you know, your personal belongings, your house, your mortgage, all that sort of stuff is on the line. Whereas if you're a limited company, it's whatever the company owns. It's the assets within the company, not not your own personal belongings and stuff. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's it.
What was the third reason?
And so the third reason is cash flow on taxes when you're a sole trader. So there's 4 points. Third one is when you're a sole trader. I'm sure you're aware when you pay your tax at the end of the year, you've got to pay 50% towards the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you pay 50%. If your tax bill is £2,000, you got to pay £3,000 actually. But 1,000 goes to the next year.
That took me off guard. That did when that happened because I didn't really understand it.
It does, yeah, it does because it's money you haven't been saving for mostly, or most people, they tend not to save for. And then you've got to pay another £1,000 6 months later. So there you've got £2,000 of HMRC. And when you do your tax return, you pay the difference or you claim back the difference. So if you're making a lot of profits, your tax bill is going to be quite high, especially as a sole trader. And then you've got to pay another 50% on top of that. It's you don't have to do that with a limited company as much anyway, because your personal tax is lower. You don't have to do that with company tax. So you just pay your 19% usually, or up to 25. And yeah, well, that's the other point. You don't have to do that with a limited company. So yeah, carry on. I know you're going to ask a question.
It was just, I don't know if you caught me talking to Ryan from Curbside last week.
I have been in on a few of them. I'm not sure if you maybe you'll judge.
We were talking about the threshold of where you're sort of forced to go VAT registered and stuff.
Yeah. I think I did see that. Yeah.
Do they go hand in hand? Is going VAT registered becoming a limited company? Is that the same thing, or is that two different things?
It's two completely different things. So, firstly, VAT.
Can you do one without doing the other?
Yeah. So you can be a sole trader and VAT registered, and you can be a limited company and not be VAT registered.
Right.
So they're just two complete. One is VAT is a tax. Limited is a company formation. It's just two different things. So,
in my head, they were the same thing. That's crazy.
No, I mean, yeah, no, it's not. A lot of people think the same thing as well. You think once you go limited, you have to go VAT. But if you're a sole trader and you invoice over £90,000 in a rolling 12-month period, you have to go VAT registered.
I thought it was 85. Ryan just told me it was 85.
No, it's gone up. It's gone up this year. So it's in effect now, 90,000. And he's still there. Sorry. Yeah, you went a bit still. I think you're a bit too intrigued in what I'm saying. I think. Yeah. So if you're a sole trader and you earn 90k, you have to go registered in a rolling 12-month period. That is.
So you need to be on top of your accounts to know exactly how much you've earned over the last 12 months every month.
Especially if you're pushing there. Yeah, especially if you're close to that 90,000. Yeah. So I've actually just taken on a client because the accountant hasn't. They've been told that they have to go VAT registered, and the accountant just said, "Yeah, you had to go VAT registered 3 months ago." So now you're going to have to, because they haven't been accounting for VAT in the period that was meant to be VAT registered. They'd have to pay 16.67% on whatever they turned over to HMRC, and that's completely unexpected. So yeah, I took on a client in that situation. So you can be sole trader and VAT registered, but you have to be VAT registered if you're 90k or above in a rolling 12-month period. Or you can be a limited company and then zero and not VAT registered. You don't have to be VAT registered as a limited company, and you don't have to be limited to be VAT registered.
Okay, that clears.
You can also voluntary register as well. So you can register if you're earning nothing. If you just open a limited company, just register to be a sole trader, you can register for VAT. There's people mainly do that if they're just working with businesses. So if they're a business to business company. So if you just worked on just doing cladding cleans for industrial estates, or your fuel, or a lot of your expenses that you're going to incur, pure seal, everything you're going to have VAT on, you can claim that back, and the VAT that you charge to your customer isn't a problem for them. They claim it back, so you keep the VAT that you pay. So everything's about 17% cheaper that you pay VAT on.
Right. Okay. I'm not sure I quite understand, but
No, that's fine. Okay, so
I'm not at that point yet, just yet, where I need to really start digging into it, I suppose.
now, so what part would you say if voluntary registration? Is that the bit?
The customer claiming the VAT back.
Yeah. So if I charge something for £1,000, a roof's £1,000, and I'm now VAT registered, it's now extra 20%, 1,200 to the customer. That customer, because they're not a business or VAT registered, they can't claim that back. But if I do a cladding clean for £1,000 plus VAT, and they're VAT registered,
because they're a business,
then they claim the £200 back, and it's still just £1,000 as if you aren't VAT registered.
Right. I understand.
So they because it makes no difference to them if your business is just working with those companies, then when you're VAT registered, you also claim back all of your VAT, like that commercial customer who you're doing the cladding clean for.
I understand.
So any fuel, you spend £1,000 a month on fuel, you claim that back.
Yeah. Okay.
You claim the VAT back off them.
Okay. Wicked. Thank you. I'm looking to get into the exterior cleaning business. I currently make 50 grand a year as an engineer, working 40 hours per week. Any advice? That's quite a broad question, I suppose. From
Advice?
Keith Robinson.
Build it slowly, I think. I mean, £50,000 a year is going to be hard to just duplicate straight away. Yeah, unless you're buying a window cleaning.
Yeah, I'd argue that you're probably not going to make that in your first year. If you were to just give up your current job and jump straight into exterior cleaning, even if you've got all the resources available at your disposal, no one knows who you are. You've got no rapport with any of your customers. You've got no recommendations coming in. You've got no reviews. Like Conor says, I'd say probably, build that up slowly. If you could, like I did, I had a 9 to 5. I've got a mortgage, family, kids, dog, cat. I've got a lot of things going on in my life, but I was still able to do things on evenings and weekends and gradually build things up. That's probably what I'd say to you. And Keith, why are you looking to make that switch? Is it because you're unhappy, or is it because you're not a huge fan of your work-life balance? Thanks for the question.
He said actually a bit further down, it's not all about the money for me anymore. I would just like a better work-life balance. If I could make 40k a year consistently being self-employed, then I'd be happy. Take over window cleaning amount if you're happy to do it. Start with a window cleaning amount to cover your bills. Make sure, especially if you've got family.
Yeah, that's
start with a window cleaning amount. Yeah,
that's a good idea. It's very low barrier to entry in terms of the equipment costs. You can be in and out of a job within probably 15 minutes. I don't know how long it takes to clean windows.
I think but it depends on the house, I guess. But I don't do it either.
Yeah, so you could very easily. 15 minutes, maybe, yeah, you could very easily fit that around your current work and then gradually start building up from that, I'd assume.
Yeah, I mean it's good to start in the winter as well because some window cleaners aren't. That's when you got the lowest competition for new window cleaners.
Oh, that's a good idea. Didn't think of that.
Most people want to wait until spring, don't they?
And also, I'd say keep a good rapport with your current employer. Don't try and sort of end on bad terms. And if you can gradually lower your hours or lower your days and stuff, because you might find that you have a cracking summer and you think, right, I'm ready to go full time now. But like me, I had a terrible winter and I needed to, go back to my old employer and say, have you got any hours for me? And luckily I'd preempted that, so I'd made sure I'd set that up beforehand and said, look, if you can offer me a 0-hour contract, you can employ someone else in my position, and then I can just come in to offer a bit of help every now and again when I need to. And that worked out really well.
Yeah, it's all about managing the risk.
Yeah. Pure Seal Squad is here, Luke Bailey.
How much business would you say your website brings in? More so now. I mean, I think a couple of weeks ago I had 5 or 4 quite big commercial inquiries. One was a church, a school, a unit, like a cladding. Two of those actually, and then a big. That's cladding, but it's a different type of cladding. Big cladding. And the conversion rate's a lot higher on SEO. So any leads that your website does bring in, if you get onto them quick. And especially with commercial, that you are professional, sending a professional quote. which I have templates for emails and quotes and everything that I give to my clients if they need it. Then as long as the price is right and you're not overcharging, then.
Are you going out to all your quotes, or are you doing any remotely?
I don't go out to residential quotes.
You don't?
No, I don't even for some commercial. I went out to one that big cladding clean. So ones that I really want to win, then I'll go out.
Mm.
But I will still win a lot of work commercial wise, just from emails really. Especially if it's small. If the building's big, then you can't really quote them. There's so much factors that you have to take into consideration. But I send a very professional. But it's all very professional looking, branded quotes. I've got like FAQs in my email that I'll send to them. So it looks like so it shows that we do that work often. And I still win quite a lot of the commercial, especially cladding cleaning.
So are you asking for things like water supply and if the drainage is adequate and all that sort of stuff, or are you just assuming that it's going to be okay?
But water supply for commercial I do. Drainage not so much because I don't. That being said, I don't get much inquiries for pressure washing commercial, like block paving. With that type of stuff, I'd say you'd have to definitely go out. I do go out for most of my commercial inquiries because then there's not like a huge amount. But for residential, I don't.
You'd sort of expect on a commercial property that drainage is going to be okay, but I have found that water supplies can be an issue, especially
water supply is the main thing, really.
It's normally distance from water supply. There's generally always one, but it could be 400 meters away.
Yeah, it could be in the middle of the building as well.
Yeah,
it can be. The water supply is a big one for that. I mean, I think also if you're doing pressure washing, what I would say is you have to what's it called? You have to make sure about the staff members' cars, because if sometimes it's like 40 people's cars on the block paving you're trying to clean. We actually don't do it. We haven't done commercial paving, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we've done a lot of cladding cleans, and if it was block paving cleaning, it would be not possible. Yeah, I'd say you have to section the work off the day before, really.
Yeah, I've had that recently. We were working at Mini, BMW Mini, recently. Yeah, and that was it was Richard that landed the job, my friend Rich, and they'd organised that they were going to have all the cars moved. We'd have a clear run, and when we got there, none of the cars were moved, and actually we had not one section we had a clear run at, because they had to, instead of moving the cars off the forecourt, they were just sort of shimmying them around to give us access to certain areas. It probably added 2-3 hours onto the job on the first day.
And if you think about that across like a week's worth of work, you're losing days.
It's
no longer worth it. And if you've got staff members, you can't do that. You have to set very clear expectations from the start with commercial.
Yeah.
You have to have a more point of contact as well, because you might be dealing with one guy one day and office manager the next day, production manager the next day, receptionist the next day.
Yeah, it was like, just let us know when you need us to move the cars. And it's like, yeah, we'll let you know. And then we'd tell them, and within an hour, they still hadn't been moved. And it's like, okay, we go and ask them again. Half an hour.
You start cleaning at that point, don't you? Cars get messy. I'm sure they'll move them a lot quicker.
Yeah, true. That was.
Connor, is it right? Sorry.
No, go on.
Connor, is it right that if you got limited just before hitting that threshold, does it refresh back to 0 and starts rolling from there again? That is correct. If you're a sole trader, you're at 89,000. You go back registered, no more money goes into your sole trader now. Then yeah. You reset.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing if you're working with residential, because you don't have to be VAT registered for another however long it takes you to make another 90k. So if you're about to hit 90k and you go limited, it resets. If that makes sense. Your turnover resets. Sorry. So that rolling period that I'm in for 12 months. Is 90,000 threshold.
Yeah. If
you're 80,000, just about to hit it, and you go limited, change all the paperwork into your limited company, then you're at 0 again.
So you don't have to start charging your customers VAT until you hit 90 again.
In a limited company, yeah.
I wonder if Ryan knows that from curbside.
It's not well known actually.
Well,
to be honest.
he's just started charging VAT, so I don't know whether that'll be an interesting question to ask him.
A lot of people don't know that.
What I was going to say was, for me at the beginning, I wasn't even attempting to quote for any or to win any sort of commercial work because I understood that I was still very small. My equipment was still fairly underpowered and had a small van, just me on my own. Do you think at that stage, this is potentially a leading question, I'm not trying to lead you in any direction, but I know what I would say. Do you think at that stage a website is important? Do you think a website's important for if you're only targeting residential work?
Yeah, I'd say so. Especially nowadays where there's a lot more competition. And if you want to win better work, if you're just getting work from like Facebook groups, where I'm sure if you use Facebook, you've seen it. Does anyone that can jet wash my patio? And you see 75 comments, removal companies, tree surgeons, roofers. You know, if you got a website, one, people inquire with you, and two, people that are researching you. If it's a professional website, you already sold compared to the people that don't have a website.
Yeah. Okay.
People sell themselves before they even speak to you. If they speak to you, most of it's already sold, really.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Website kind of covers that.
Are you okay for a bit? Are you...
Carry on, yeah. Carry
sure?
on.
All right.
Yeah, carry on, no problem. As long as you don't want to get rid of me.
No, this is good. This is good. Sure, I brought a crafter from you and it's been good workhorse.
Yeah, that was actually my business partner, so you do it on new builds. I think I did just see the comments somewhere. Yeah, that was when my business partner left the business and we sold his van. I downscaled the business. And then, yeah, I think we sold it to someone who was doing quick cleaning, so.
Nice.
Must have been yourself. Hopefully that's all still working out for you, which it seems it is.
What's the most anyone's made from cleaning a single driveway, and does anyone have a minimum charge? For pressure washing, I mean, this will probably change if I do end up going back registered. For pressure washing, I've got a minimum charge of 125 quid for if I'm called out to clean a single slab on a doorstep. It's going to be 125 quid because it's pointless me travelling out somewhere, setting up the equipment and the water supply. Even for the piddliest job.
Yeah.
In terms of like how much is the most that someone's made from cleaning a single driveway, that's a difficult question to answer, but with regards to residential stuff, it very much depends on what sort of area you're in. Whereabouts are you, Connor?
In Warsaw. Do you know Warsaw?
Yeah.
Not too far from you. You're in Redditch, aren't you?
Yeah. So Richard's in Warsaw, and he's
yeah, no, the guy that you work with, isn't it?
Yeah, he does some pretty massive driveways compared to me, and I think it's just because that area has just got some absolutely mammoth houses.
In Warsaw,
yeah,
in some areas, yeah, it's like very rich and very poor. I mean, it's not very rich, but the houses are really big because Warsaw's a cheap area to buy a house, so they get bigger space much more,
right,
space for the house price, but not on a whole, really. I mean, there are areas, but the areas that people are paying for the driveways to be pressure washed are in Warsaw.
Yeah,
they would be bigger. Yeah, I would say so.
So,
I mean, yeah.
Would you charge per square meter on a residential driveway?
Yeah, I would, but it's important not to just pluck a square meter out of thin air, really. I think that's so. When I say about that annual budget, to go back to it, you figure out how much you need to charge per day, and then if you and then you work out all of your services, all the services that you do. If you need to charge out £600 per day, and you have to work out how much square meters on average you clean, and that will give you a square meter rates.
I didn't think of working it out like that. So you're taking the time it's going to take for you to do the job, and your expenses and materials and all that sort of stuff, and then you're getting a sort of like a day rate from that.
Yeah. So that's why I say everyone works on a day rate, because like I said, if you've got I think gutter fascia soffit cleaning is a good one, because if you've got loads of different angles and you're clearing out gutters and cleaning the outside, it might take a lot longer than if it's just one straight thing. So if you charge like the same square meterage rate on that, you're not going to be happy with the price, and you're going to charge it more for the awkward. So really, everyone has a day rate. It's just people don't know it really.
Yeah, that's a good point. I suppose that's the trap of having set prices for certain services, is that, like you say, particularly for gutters, faces, soffits, or conservatories where access can be super awkward, the most minor inconvenience can turn like an hour-long job into a 2 or 3 hour long job, and you can very quickly start losing money on the day.
Yeah,
and especially if you've got.
Which is why I say, carry on.
If you've got another employee with you helping you out on the job, you've also got to cover his wages as well, which is what I'm running into. It's like, okay, we need to make sure we're hitting at least this per day, because else I'm not even covering his wages, which very rarely happens, but it's just something to consider, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, so you need to work out your break-even point. So you need to work out how much your break-even point is, how much you need to make in turnover to get to zero. So for you just to make as much money as you spend, basically, plus how much you want to make on top.
Yeah.
And then you work out how much you need to. Very easy to work out how much you need to charge. And so when like in the Facebook groups, especially, people always, how much do I charge? But it's quite impossible to answer that question, really.
It's such a lazy question as well. How much do I charge for this? And it's like, have you tried to quote it? Have you got a square meterage? Have you done any measuring? Have you done any research into how much it's going to cost you? Like, it's such a broad...
with videos out there as well, like yours and Partridge and Macintosh, YouTubers are talking about how much they charge. It's the information's there, really. And just go or do it for free. If you don't know, then you should do it for free. If you've got no overheads, do it for free. How long is it going to take you? How much did it cost you? How much do you want to make? Gives you an answer.
Yeah.
And then charge that from going forward. And then if you're not happy with that rate, increase it. Really, I would say an annual budget is what every business should have one, really.
Speaking of YouTube, we've got Sid in the chat. Welcome, Sid. How you doing, mate?
I see. How are you doing?
Big Conor Bentley coming here with the knowledge. Are you one of his? Is he one of your clients?
He's not.
He's not?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Conor, what's the process for paying yourself as a limited company? Also, how does the dividend system work?
So you pay yourself tax efficient payroll. So as a limited company, you register for payroll. You pay. So it depends if you've got another employee or wife or husband or whatever on the payroll. You pay yourself either £9,000 a year or £12,500 a year, and then you take the rest in drawing. So you draw the rest of the money out, which then gets declared as dividends on your personal return. So as a sole trader, everything's on your personal tax return. You pay on all your profits. And then as a limited company, you only pay. So when you open a limited company, it's just completely separate. All the money goes through there, your personal no earns, nothing goes on your personal return until you take money out of the business. So you take money out of the business from 12,500 salary, let's say, that goes on your personal return. And then if you need an extra 37,000 to make 50k, then you pay dividends on that at 8.75%.
Right. Okay. So it's more about juggling the what's most tax efficient, as how to pay yourself.
It's quite set, really. Up until 50k, it's quite set. It's either 9,000 salary and invested dividends, or 12,500.
Okay. When, say, for example, I was to go limited, would I, even though I'm on the tools still, would I be like the director? Or would I pay myself as an employee? Or like, how would that work? Does every limited company need to have a director? Yeah,
so a limited company is an entity owned by its shareholders.
Okay.
You being 100% shareholder. And it's run by its directors, you being a director. So you're both the shareholder and the director at the start. And then you put yourself as an employee as well. So you're all three. And you need a director.
Okay. Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense.
If it don't, because I'm speaking from obviously experience, and it's very easy for me to just carry on. Just tell me you don't.
No,
sure
it's
people
good.
are gonna.
I'm very I was going to say simple, but that's probably not fair.
And it's not fair.
I'm sort of more practical and hands-on when it comes to like the business side of things, as you've probably already seen with, you know, the lack of knowledge about the SEO and websites and marketing, accountancy and finance and all that sort of stuff. That's not my strongest point, and so it's good to have these things broken down. It's probably quite common, to be fair, because when you're a small business owner, you've got so many different roles, and I found myself just mainly trying to be on the tools, trying to be really good at my job, and also just trying to pump out content constantly. And so the finance and the marketing and the admin and all that sort of stuff sort of takes a backseat, which isn't ideal really when you're running a business.
No, I mean, yeah, you can't juggle it all really, and yeah, it is very common. Most people don't understand accounting because why would they? How would people just? I mean, I've done exams. I've done hundreds. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of companies, big, small, medium, dormant, which means not trading companies. So it's experience. You're not going to get experience. I mean, when you're 10 years into your business, you'll understand a lot more because you'll have had to go through certain things.
Yeah. So
when I speak with people, some people are already telling me, well, I have to explain to most people, just because they've gone through it. They're older. They've got properties, and they have to know this stuff. You do have to know this stuff when you start going in business because you have to know what to expect. A lot of people with their accountant they trust them a lot to do what they're paying them.
Yeah,
which is obviously fair enough. But if you don't understand what you're expecting, you don't know what if they're doing is good enough.
Yeah, and I suppose that's where getting yourself into a position where you can come away from the tools and spend a bit more time doing research and figuring things out. I have no time to do anything at the moment. It's like I've got so many little side projects that I want to get done, but I've just not had any time. And so for me to start trying to think about SEO and trying to get on top,
that's why you outsource.
Yeah.
So if you're at the point where you only have enough money for what you need personally, and you get a quote for SEO and it's £500 a month, you just have to increase your prices to make an extra £500 a month every month.
Yeah, and I think
which is what the annual budget is important for.
This is something that I think Darren from PWS said to me. I think it was Darren, but it was like something about I was looking at a new van, and it was something along the lines of, well, are you going to increase your prices to cover the new van? And I was like, what do you mean? I said, the van's paid for. He went, no, it's not. He said, like, you need to figure out how much you've paid for the van and now increase your prices going forward so that van can be paid off. And I
otherwise it's you buying it's you buying equipment when it should be your customers buying the equipment.
Yeah, and I couldn't.
When you buy at Tesco, you're paying for their building. You're paying for their next investment.
Yeah, And I couldn't flick the switch in my head until one day I just realised. Now I understand what he said. Like it just, I think I was clearing some gutters. And I was like, I understand that now.
Yeah. And also, when you've got to replace it, if you haven't been charging the customers, then you're paying for it again. So you pay for it every time.
Yeah.
It's easier to tell when you've got like a lease payment or a finance payment because you see it coming out of your bank every month.
That's true. Yeah, you should be treating them both the same, shouldn't you? I suppose.
It's the way to do it is taking depreciation into account. So you have to cover your depreciation every year.
Yeah.
As long as the depreciation figure is accurate.
Yeah. Barclay says, Connor, what savings do you feel you can save a limited exterior cleaning company over another accounting firm that's not knowledgeable of the industry? That's a very good question. So I suppose with you targeting, particularly services and exterior cleaning, do you think you've got more? Do you think you can offer your customers a better service or a more informed service than an average accountant could?
Yeah, obviously I'm going to say yes. So, but
imagine if you just said nah.
Nah, mate, nah. Sorry, I can't help you. Of course I'm going to say yes, but the answer is actually yes because and I'm going to say something a bit different, is the best way to save money is by making more money. You can't save your way to riches in the most case. Now, most accountants will, and I don't want to say most accountants to try and like slag other accountants off. I'm not meaning it by this, but if accountants are very focused on tax because that's what you expect for them. How do I decrease my tax? Or if they're a little bit better, they'll actually look at your profit and loss statement and look at your expenses. Okay, you're spending too much on staff wages, which is what most people would do, most accountants would do, but it's not like, because I understand the financials behind the account, behind an exterior cleaning company.
And growing an exterior cleaning company as well.
Yeah, so if you might get advised, pay tax. I mean, if you need to save on your tax bill by spending all your savings on a new van and then only saving 20% of the tax, when really I know that money can go into a certain marketing avenue, pull another van on the road, and now you got more net profit. Yeah. The answer to the question is yes. Obviously, I'm going to say that, but
I think there's a lot of factors that would go into you being just slightly more, not even slightly, a hell of a lot more informed than a general accountant that's serving a bunch of different clients, whereas you're sort of targeting one area.
Yeah. So when I was employed as an accountant, I was a general accountant. I had companies from like I said, not trading, to multi-million-pound companies. There's in every industry you can imagine: engineering, food production, everything, trades, electrician, plumbers, absolutely everything. You can't, I know from first-hand experience, because the rest of the people the practice I worked in was all general accountants as well. You can't offer tailored advice because the only advice you give is what HMRC tell you to give, essentially, which is save tax by claim your mileage, trivial benefits, which is available which is like you can withdraw a certain amount without it being on your without paying tax or personal tax on it, basically, in gift cards and stuff like that, staff parties. Like HMRC, those are HMRC's guidance, which the general accountant is more so charging you to work for HMRC, really.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking at your turnover. They might look at how to increase your profit margins by just suggesting stuff, but because I got the background knowledge of it, like I won't just suggest anything, because I know some things are just irrelevant. Like, okay, you need to pay your staff less, but I know compared to other people, you're not paying them enough, so that means your prices need to go up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Sid's been through the same thing with some of his staff. Like you said earlier, as soon as they get up on a roof or up on a scaffolding tower, and they're cleaning, 30, 40 feet with a pole, big power pole,
and then the jet wash cuts out, and they've got 40 meters worth of pole extended, or it splurges and it goes up and nearly falls you off the scaffold. It's hard to.
There's so many reasons why you'd pay that member of staff more than the average Joe working in an office, for example.
Yeah, like I know some people paying like £150-200 a day for a member of staff in exterior cleaning, roof cleaning, especially because they're like closer to London. Like some of these people are closer to London and charging. And accounting will see that, and like you're paying 50k for someone with no qualifications plus pension contributions. Like why don't you recruit someone who you can pay less?
Yeah,
but that guy's been with them for 6 years.
Yeah.
And they've made money on recruitment fees. They've saved money on recruitment fees. Staff like lost revenue from having to cancel jobs because they've got no staff.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose a skilled labourer is much more valuable than just like a general labourer. I think as soon as you get into roof cleaning, risk is higher. You're purchasing more equipment, and generally the type of work is just more risky.
It is risky, yeah.
I was clueless on this, trying to get a mortgage, so I needed an extra 40 grand. So I told the accountant to put it through, thinking I'd paid a bit of tax, but not a crazy amount. First 10 grand was 850 quid. Every 10 grand after that was 3,750.
Yeah. So, what I would say on that is that's also her. So there's still two actually. I can't remember exactly, but limited company. So the reason you've done that, obviously, you've gone into the higher rate threshold. Your dividend tax goes from 8.75% to 37.5%, which is why you're paying that extra bit. As a limited company, you can get mortgages on your profits, a multiplier of your profits, so you don't have to withdraw crazy amounts and pay crazy tax to be able to withdraw to be able to get that mortgage. So that's another benefit of a limited company. And the other one that I didn't say is if you make, say, you profit £100,000 a year, but you only need 40k personally. If all that's in a sole trader, you have to pay tax on £100,000 profits.
Yeah.
But in a limited company, you pay company tax on the 100,000, which is at a lower rate.
Was that 8% instead of?
Yeah, so that's dividend tax on your person.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. So that's dividend tax. If you're thinking it, everyone else is thinking it. That's dividend tax on your personal return. In a limited company, say you've got £100,000 profits. You only need 40k, so you only need to withdraw 40k, 12,500 tax free, and then 27,500 in 8.75. And you keep the rest of the money in the limited company. You only have to pay company tax on that, and you don't have to pay any personal tax. So that's 60k you can keep in a business after tax. Well, 60k minus tax, keeping a business, and then you don't have to withdraw it, or you can withdraw it. You need 40k this year and 60k next year, so you withdraw 50k in 1 year and 50k in the next, and then don't go into the higher rate threshold. So you can manage your finance, your taxes a lot better in a limited company, especially if you start making more money like that. If you start going to 50k plus, yeah, you're going to save a lot of tax because you don't have to. You can pay at certain times of the year.
This is crazy. If everyone knew this stuff, I can imagine there's so many people that would be so much better off than what they are now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, Sid's just said, I know I would have saved him loads of tax if he came to me a couple of years back and when he was getting his mortgage. Everyone's in this situation. This isn't common knowledge. You know, this for exams, qualifications, readings on HMRC experience.
Yeah.
So people don't have that. You can't expect people to have that.
Yeah, and it's not just my idea of I'm going to get an accountant, and a lot of people's idea of that was they're going to tell me all these different ways of saving tax. But I think it's more about making good decisions for your business, and because everyone's different. If they can, like you say, if they can tailor if they can tailor the advice to your business and where you want to be in 5 years, then it's not just about saving as much tax as possible on every little receipt.
Now, taxes, when we become sole traders, when we become self-employed, we are very aware of the amount of risk that are involved compared to employment. So we're very cautious as a whole, everyone, I'm not excluded from this. Money is more sporadic, especially in exterior cleaning. It's good 1 month and maybe not that good the next month. So you become fixed in the idea that you need to save money, and you start thinking, I need to save my tax. And I always get it. I don't want to pay tax, or I don't want to pay that anywhere near as what I'm paying now, or what can I do to not pay tax, basically. And it's like it's just a complete wrong way of thinking, in my opinion, for businesses. As a business, you want to set out your goals from the start, and then we can estimate we can know exactly how much tax that's going to be. So now you just put it. So if you make £10,000 in sales a month, and you profit 5,000, or you estimate it to, we know that you need to put 20% of 5,000. You need to pull £1,000 a month away for tax. So it's better to plan for it and still reach your goals, especially if you're going for mortgages and finance, than just trying not to pay any tax.
Yeah.
The amount of people that come to me who haven't been putting anything through the books, or they're not making any money on paper. I'm going for a mortgage this year.
You're setting yourself up to fail, aren't you? Because you need to prove that you're earning something.
Yeah. I mean, like you might have £200,000 stashed underneath your mattress. Bank doesn't know that. You're saying you earn 12,500 a year. They're gonna give you 4.5 times 12,500.
Is that what it is for a mortgage? Is it 4.5 times your wage?
Yeah, it's about between 4 and 5. Obviously, it depends on a few factors: who you use, how much years account you got, how safe is the company. If you're going as a limited company, that is. And yeah, there's a few factors. Credit score, obviously.
Yeah. I was saying to someone the other day, because you touched on it earlier about. I don't think anyone. People have their ideas about getting rich, and they think it's saving.
No.
And I think if you're working for someone else and just trying to save every little penny, you are never going to be rich or like financially successful. I think me personally, from my experience, the only way you can do it is by becoming your own boss or owning your own business, or working for someone else but being an incredibly good investor. You can't just expect your money to sit there and gradually build up, and then you're going to have a super comfortable lifestyle like in your 40s, 50s. I think...
Yeah, you need... it's more about having money come in without you doing work. It's about trying to retire early, and retirement doesn't come from savings unless you're old enough for where your savings are not going to last that long. Obviously, you haven't got enough left or whatever. A bit morbid. But if your bills are £3,000 a month and you've got £3,000 a month coming in, you don't have to do any work, you're retired. I mean, it's not about having savings. It's just not about having savings. Every person with a lot of savings that I know tries to get rid of it, tries to put it in something investments. They don't want it in a bank.
Yeah.
Because one, what happens if that bank goes under, which has happened before? It's obviously very unlikely, but if that bank goes under, even it's gone. Two, every time the world gets more expensive, that money becomes less valuable.
It's a strange way of thinking, because it seems like a bit of a trap. It's like, save as much money as you can and you'll have more money. But actually, I think a lot of people are like me and they're quite risk averse. And it's like any investment is potentially risky. And so where do you put your money? Where do you put your hard-earned money? And I think it's into business or property, I suppose. It depends on...
Yeah. I'd say business is the best, especially if you've got a safe business. Yeah. Or you can buy a business. Business is going to give you the highest returns. Once you've got too much money, then I think that's when you should start looking at property. And I think it depends. Everyone's different. I know it's a very, very subjective subject. But I don't think property, if you can only buy one property and you can make £7,000 a month in a business, you might have a property.
Yeah. Just don't put it all through. Cash in jobs are the best. Cash in jobs are the best. Oh, cash in hand jobs are the best. Yeah, I don't think it's that easy, mate, to be honest.
I wish it was.
Like we've just sort of said.
£2,500 a month minimum, really, to keep a good guy with eyes to move up from there. Partridge said. Very true. Yeah, 30k a year. 30k a year, and that's on the payroll. So then obviously you got to budget for all the employers' national insurance. Yeah, you definitely 30k minimum, really, and that's even just to get someone to apply for the job, and it's decent enough just to apply for the job.
Yeah, and Sid, do you mind me asking what sort of hours your guys are working? Because I suppose also it's hard for me to do salaried work. I think our hourly wages work better for me at the moment because I'm still quite small and quiet, and there are periods throughout the year where we're not doing a full 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. I can't fill the day with work, and I don't particularly want to work like that either. Like you said earlier, people have got different goals. I'm probably turning my machine on at about 9 o'clock, and ideally I want to be finishing around 2-3 o'clock because I've got a family.
Yep.
And
yep.
if I'm paying my employee a salary, then it's not going to reflect the amount of hours they're working necessarily. So I think an hourly rate works better for someone that I'd be employing. Every wealthy person I've ever spoke to when moaning about tax has said the more you pay, the better you're doing. So look at higher bills as a well done from HMRC.
Very true. Yeah, I've seen clients pay £100,000 in corporation tax before they even take any money out for themselves. Means they're profiting 500,000, so you have to pay tax. Especially once you go big, once you start growing, just take it into consideration. Have a separate account for your savings, for your tax.
Start at 8, finish when we finish. I pay a salary, so if we finish at 12, they're full pay. Occasionally we finish at 6 or 7 o'clock. Keep a schedule so it tends to balance out. Yeah.
That's very same, isn't it, actually, from my view.
Yeah, I think
sometimes it's back at midday. Sometimes it's back at 8 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I suppose if someone's looking for, I'm lucky with Jakey because he's still fairly young. He still lives at his parents' house, and it's like he's got not really many commitments. I think if I was employing a family man with a mortgage, I'd need to offer a more sort of stable salary.
Yeah, you can't pay. Yeah, you have to pay a salary. Really, they have to know how much that their mortgage is going to be paid at the end of the month. Don't they? Really.
Yeah. Craig's back at 9:30 tonight after sealing the. Are you sealing the driveway? That's a long shift.
Where can I contact you, Connor? I'm looking at changing my accountant in the near future. Also, what's the difference between claiming your fuel receipts versus tracking you?
I was just about to say, is this a good time for me to pull up your website?
Yeah, my website's still under construction, so it's going to be updated soon. But you can contact me on Facebook, or my email address is info@cbfigures.co.uk. Or you can visit the website and put the contact form in. I'll give you a call on the same day or the next day. And then there we go. To your next question, what's the difference between claiming your fuel receipts versus tracking your mileage? Fuel receipts. So if you have a van in a business and it's owned by the business, you claim your fuel receipts. Tracking your mileage is if you use a vehicle that's not owned by the business and you use it for business purposes, then you claim 45p a mile back. And if you're VAT registered, you can claim the VAT of the fuel element of that 45p.
Is 45p a mile I was unsure of whether that was like business to business. Is that the HMRC standard? Is it 45p per mile?
Yeah, so it's 45p a mile you claim back from HMRC. I think you mean that a company will pay you your mileage. Yeah, so I think so. Say if I'm doing work for you, I'm quoting your jobs or whatever. You pay me 17p a mile, then I can claim back the difference between 45 and 17p.
Right. Okay.
That's what you mean. Yeah. So the HMRC's rate is 45p.
Okay.
I think that's what you mean.
Yep.
Yeah. Lichfield Drive and patio cleaning, not far from me. Beautiful area, Lichfield.
Beautiful area. Scratch Card Jackpot Quest says, buy some new equipment before the new tax year and buy some new clothes from the cash in hand jobs. Keep some under the bed.
Yeah, tax planning. Yeah. Buy what you need before the tax year. But you're still on it. If you just don't just buy for buying's sake. You have to you're only claiming tax relief off it. You're not claiming the whole amount. If you spend £10,000 on equipment, if your tax rate's 20%, then you save 2,000. You save 2,000 off your tax, not the whole 10. So you're still spending 8,000.
Yeah, it's like you're sort of trying to get rid of money for the sake of it.
It's a false economy a bit, really. People don't understand. Most people do, but some people don't understand that an expense isn't coming off your tax bill. The tax element of the expense is coming off your tax bill.
Yeah.
So if your tax rate's 20%, you save 20%.
I made that mistake as well. I thought
it's very common, mate. It's not.
I thought buying a £4,000 pressure washer. I thought that £4,000 was going to come off my tax bill. That was a huge mistake.
And a nice shock, isn't it? That's what I mean by when you've had a certain amount of time in business, you understand all this stuff because you've either made the mistake or you've had it explained to you and you understand it.
Yeah. If I had 100 staff, I'd have to do punch in, punch out hours. Yeah, that makes more sense. We did a roof.
If you do charge it to a certain rate, then you cover your staff wages each day. But yeah, Kevin, so.
No, I'm just reading messages. We did a roof clean and then sealed 2 driveways. God, that is a big day.
Jesus.
Back at midnight. Back at midnight, cleaning street lights so I can see again walking down the road. Anyone cleaned white marble headstones before? I need some advice. I don't think I've ever cleaned marble, to be honest.
I'm sure Sid has. He gets the funky jobs.
Yeah, I'm assuming steam cleaning at low pressure would probably be better than blasting it and shoving a load of chemicals on it. Max Clean Pro from Pure Seal, maybe. Have a look. Do you have?
I'm just about to quickly go have a quick toilet break.
Yeah, no worries. No worries, mate.
1 second.
Make sure you turn your microphone off. Oh, he's already done it. He's done it. That's right. He's got his microphone is on his headphones, so if he goes to the toilet, we'd hear everything he's doing. Do you have to keep the receipts if you are not VAT registered? Yeah. Yeah, even as a sole trader, you want to be keeping your receipts for 7 years, from what I've been told. If I go limited, would leasing a van be a good idea? This is a question that I've got, actually, because I'm wondering whether leasing a van would make more sense than buying another van. And it's nice to have like a posh van rather than just buying a second-hand shitter. My current van's got over 300,000 miles on it because I just wanted like a cheap Sprinter, and it was a friend of the family that was selling it, so like it was ideal. Best to have one business or two, one for gutter clearing and one for pressure washing. That's a good point. It's a similar thing with advertising and marketing. Like even if it's just 2 separate websites that lead to the same business, that could be a good idea as well. Like I'm going to be doing a winter leaflet for gutter clearing and roof cleaning. He's back.
I'm back.
We've got a couple of good questions.
Go on.
If I go limited, would leasing a van be a good idea?
It depends on your business, really. It is a subjective thing, really. It's not all about financial and cash flow with leasing. You got to look at the lease agreements, how much it's going to cost you. Any penalties for terminating the contract early, because it's usually quite high. And if you've VAT registered or not, then that's also another consideration. I don't like the idea of it, but if you have many vans, then you usually get decent deals on van leases. So then it's maybe a bit more of a consideration for me. But on an average, I advise just to buy something good secondhand. Yeah.
I think it's the issue with like leasing a new van as well. Like you say, it's as a sole trader, that becomes my asset then, doesn't it? Whereas if you're a limited company, it becomes the business's property. Is that right?
That last bit again, sorry. I was just reading the comments.
As a limited company, would that leased van become the business's asset rather than my personal asset?
Yeah, but it's not an asset. As a lease, it's not an asset because you don't own it. Only things that are owned outright is an asset. So the other consideration would be if you're paying £300 a month for a lease, $3,600 a year, that's classed as an expense. But if you buy a van for the same value, whatever that is, like 15,000, you can claim the whole 15,000 as an expense to capital allowances. So it depends whether you need to really decrease the profits in that year, or you want to. You don't have to claim the whole 100%. You can claim 18% a year as well. So it does depend on circumstances. Really, it's more consideration than just a financial aspect.
Yeah. So to give solid advice on that question, you'd want to be looking at the person's business and seeing whether it's a good decision.
Yeah, but I mean, if you got the money, it's also a personal preference. If you want a brand spanking new van every couple of years, then lease. If you just don't want to have a monthly payment, then buy. It depends on what you want, really. I base everything off finances, obviously. So I'll look at what's best financially, as well as all those other considerations.
Another good question I saw was from Craig. He says, best to have one business or two? One for gutter cleaning and one for pressure washing. What would you suggest?
It depends why you're asking that question. If it's because of the VAT threshold, I actually just put a post in all the Facebook groups about using two companies to avoid the VAT threshold. You can't do that, basically. A lot of people do it, and meant to disaggregation rules apply with that, which is not going to be good if you get caught out, basically.
So you can't have two limited companies offering different services run
not
by the same
services, no.
Run by the same person.
You can if they're completely separate businesses. If you use there's certain tests that HMRC will do, and if they rely on each other mainly, if they use the same customers, the same website, the same phone number, they're run by the same people, the same employees, then it's not going to be allowed. If it's just for one for each service, like, it's not really allowed. If they're for different things, if they're for actual different things, and customers believe they're for two different companies, then it's more than likely fine, depending on the specific scenario. Like if one's like window cleaning, like if it's like window cleaning and plumbing, like then yeah, and they're limited companies, that is.
Yeah.
But if it's sole trader, then it doesn't matter. All your income as a sole trader is for the VAT threshold, even whatever trades you're in. But if that's the reason, then no. If you want to become, the other consideration for that, I would say, is if you want to be seen as a specialist for gutter cleaning, but you got more chance of being able to charge higher prices because you're seen as a specialist, then you might want to have two different businesses for that reason.
Yeah, I think I suppose if it's to save money and save tax and stuff, I was thinking more along the lines of being able to promote two different services separately as separate entities. I think
it is good because SEO as well is a massive. There's a guy near me, Roof Cleaning Wolverhampton. His business name. He changed his name to Roof Cleaning Wolverhampton. If you type in Roof Cleaning Wolverhampton, he's the only person that comes up first, because he's like, usually if you put like roof cleaning near me, it will be on Google Maps. It will be the first three companies, like the section of Google. But because his search term is so specific to that, then he's the only person who comes up. There's not three. So you've got, so like some people have like gutter cleaning every service Birmingham, every service Wolverhampton, every service Warsaw. Like,
separate websites.
Yeah. So some people do it, but you can do it, but it's expensive. It's expensive, and it's a lot more admin, but it doesn't generate more work.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Does a lease van come with straight ladders? Shut up, Craig. Surely if you're leasing a van, you wouldn't be able to wrap it. Yeah, what is when it comes to modifications and screwing things into the side of the walls and all that sort of stuff, what's the rules on lease vans, do you know?
Yeah, so it depends on the company you're leasing from, but usually they're all right, to be honest, because you're looking for someone that will let you do this modification. Like window cleaning, tanks bolted. They usually say if you have to bring it back in the exact same condition that we gave it to you, basically. So if you do that, then it should be okay, depending on the contract that you've signed. But if there's like stuff, if you bring it back and they've got to do work to it, they'll charge you for it, basically.
Yeah.
Or some companies will say, no, you can't make any modifications. So obviously you're not going to use them in that case. So
Wizard of Wash asks, first year of trading, how much should you put away in the tax pot? Will the HMRC work out the average from your first year?
Well, I'll answer your first question. First year trading, how much should you pull away? First year trading or 15 year trading, same answer really. It depends on how much you profit. So it depends on your profit margin. if you save 20, if you can save 20% of your turnover, then you'll be covered because your expenses will decrease your tax bill.
20% of your turnover.
If you can do that, then you'll be fine. But realistically, especially as a limited company, because there's not national insurance until you withdraw it. Then, if you operate on, say, a 50% profit margin, so every £10,000 you earn, then you profit £5,000. You save £1,000, which is actually 10% of your turnover. So it depends on how much you profit, really. Because your tax on profits, not turnover. But I say, if you can save 20% of your turnover, then you'll be covered, and you'll have some left over.
Could you not? Save 20% of your profits, or to include national insurance? Can you not save 29% of your profits? Is that right?
You can, but do you know exactly how much your profits are?
Well, I do, because I'm putting it in a spreadsheet and I'm working out every month, and I'm taking my expenses off and working out the 20% and all that sort of stuff. But
and when you do that, is it the same figure that you have to pay? Have you done that for the last tax year, for example? And was it the same amount? I mean, if you're tracking it well, then yeah, by all means, save the exact amount.
Well, it's all sort of wizardry, because I track it and I figure out how much I need to put in the savings pot, and then I give it to my accountant, and then he does his stuff, and then I get a different figure of what I have to pay. And it's like you said about your second year, you're paying an extra 50% to go towards your third year or whatever it was. So
yeah.
I haven't been in business long enough to see whether I'm tracking it correctly, but I've got enough to cover me. It seems to be enough.
Yeah.
But I've only done 2 years worth.
A certain amount. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, then there you go. If you know how much you're profiting, and you're tracking it like you got an Excel spreadsheet, for example, you know your tax rates, then just save that each month. Especially if you're tracking it each month, which is what I show that you should do, really.
Right. So would you recommend someone just starting a business today? What would be the best practice? What things do they have to get set up? Because I wish I'd started tracking things earlier. I wish I'd started keeping my receipts for all my purchases earlier. Is there
what would I recommend them do for tax purposes, or how much to save?
Just generally good business practices. Like I would now recommend that people have an Excel spreadsheet just with their expenses and their income, at least.
Yeah, well, if you're brand new, obviously, then you just have to get your hands dirty, start earning some money, and then figuring it out from there. But if you're already at that point, then an annual budget, like I say, and I'll keep harping on about it, but yeah, an annual budget. How much do you need to earn a month? And work out how much tax you need to pay for that to happen. How much profit you need to make, and then you'll be able to track it every month. So, which is what I do again, the management reporting every month. So I sit down, the people that take this package, we create them an annual budget, which is just a financial plan for the next 12 months. How much, completely specific to their circumstances. And then every month we sit back, we do the bookkeeping. Before, obviously, I do the bookkeeping and prepare a report and compare it against the annual budget. What happened? Where did you go wrong? What have you made more? Have you made less? What have you made more? Have you made less? How to keep on doing it? How to keep on pushing?
Do you think the average Joe can do that on their own, or do you think they need an accountant to be able to do that properly?
Well, to be honest, most accountants don't actually offer it. Some do, but you can do it yourself. It just won't be 100% accurate. So you can do what you're doing, and if every month put your numbers in from your bank account, export your bank account. You spent this much on you turned over this much. You spent this much on fuel. Your labour cost you this much. How much profit did I make? That's a good practice, because you'll be able to you'll be able to see how much you're spending on each category. Marketing, how much money you've got over as well. How much money you've got left that if you've made more than you needed, which you hopefully you are, then say you've got $2,000 left. Now you put that $2,000 into preparing for the winter. So yeah, you're able to make decisions with database decisions, which is always good.
That's important, isn't it? Database decisions rather than just flying at the seat of your pants, thinking, okay, this is how much money I've got this month. well, actually, if you look at the last 12 months, you're projected to earn this, and it sets you up. It makes you a lot more confident in, especially seasonal work like this. You're much more confident in what you're able to spend and what you can forecast coming in over the next few months.
Yeah.
I've never been one for charts and graphs, but it's actually been really useful for me.
You don't need to go too in depth with it. If you're going to DIY, which obviously if you're just starting out, then you have to, because you can't afford to pay someone to do it at that point. But yeah, you need everything about your business is based upon the numbers. Whether you like it or not, the numbers are the most important part of your business. The money, you need to track where that money's going, why it's going where, and make decisions based off that.
Yeah.
Especially when you start looking at marketing, then you're tracking different KPIs. Say for the Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, Canvas, networking, referrals, whatever, all the marketing streams, and then you start tracking how much you're spending on each one, and then the return on investment on each one. Then you can start to say that seems like it's working because it's getting me loads of calls, but I'm not making any money off it.
Yeah.
So that's working more. So pump more money into that, and then over time, it's just
Are you going to keep expanding your exterior cleaning business, or are you at a point now where you're happy just to let it tick along?
No, I'm not going to keep expanding it. No, I use it more so now to test out different strategies.
That's crazy. You can use a business as like a test. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not going to, because I don't want to. I enjoy my accountancy. I love helping people with their finances, because I'm getting paid in the meantime, obviously.
Well, you're clearly good at it as well.
The difference I can make in someone else's life, and like for example, this guy came to me. The other day, he was a CIS. I don't know if you know what that means. It's basically people in construction. They are deducted 20% off their wages, even though they're self-employed every week or month. And on his HMRC account, you basically get a rebate usually when you're CIS registered, because you've paid more tax. HMRC want to make sure you're paying tax in that industry, because everyone pays cash in hand before. And on his HMRC account, it said, claim your £1,700 refund. And then he said, shall I just claim this? And I've already quoted him to do his return. I think it was £300, because it's just sole trader. That's how much I charge for CIS. I said, no, just give me your information and let me do it, because I know that it's going to be more than that, because the HMRC only had certain information, but I can't explain it all on over message or over call. And he ended up getting like a £6,400 refund.
That's crazy.
For me, it took it didn't take me too long. It probably it took me half of the day or something. I'd actually done it at night for him, just so we could. He was happy, and
that's changed his year. That has.
That's what I mean. So he was prepared to take £1,700, and a lot of people are like, £300 when I can just click this button, and they miss a lot of value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's the case, would you recommend not buying secondhand off some random on a Facebook group simply because you won't get the receipt to get the tax refund on it? That's a very good question. No,
you still get the tax relief. You just, what you need to keep is proof of purchase. So whether that's just because that's not a receipt, if you've got messages, a bank transaction, you've got proof of purchase.
Ah, is that it?
There's a paper trail if you're buying it. It's not just lost revenue.
I didn't know that.
You just need a paper trail. That in 99% of scenarios is a receipt, obviously. But in that case, then
that's only in case it happens that HMRC want to investigate you. And as long as you've got, is it 7 years worth of paper trails for all your purchases, you're fine?
Yeah, 6 years.
6
years after your financial year, and which is 7 years from the date you purchase it, really.
Yeah.
And that's if HMRC decide to investigate you, exactly. But if you are deliberately avoiding tax and thinking they can go back as long as they want.
Right, okay.
But But if you don't keep, if they do investigate you and you haven't kept adequate records for those 7 years, they'll charge you £300 per year for inadequate records.
Ooh, I didn't know that. What about if you sold some of your equipment? What category would that go under in bookkeeping?
So when you buy the equipment, it's recorded as an asset, which isn't actually classed as an expense technically until you claim it off the risk. Like it's done different. It's not. It's in your books. It's an asset basically. And then if you bought that for £5,000 and you sold it for £4,000, it doesn't. It's not income basically. It's recorded in your books as in disposal of assets.
Yeah, that happened to me this year with the van, and I just assumed the van was an expense, but it's not, is it? It's an asset.
Yeah, it's an asset. But if you did claim tax relief off it, then you have to pay the difference in tax relief back if you claim the full amount.
Connor, if my card reader charges a fee, is that claimable on a tax return? And do I remove it from my total turnover, or do I include it in the unfeed price?
Unfeed price. I don't know what you mean by unfeed price, but the card reader, it depends how you're recording your income. So really, you should be recording your income as whatever you charge your customer, and then add in the card reader expense as an expense. And yes, it's 100% tax deductible. Any expense that you incur that you wouldn't have incurred if you wasn't in a business is tax deductible, unless there's two tests, and it's wholly. HMRC will ask, is it wholly and exclusively for the business? If you didn't have this business, would you have bought it? And if it is there a duality of purpose? So those are the two tests. And
like my phone, like I'm using my phone for personal and for business.
Yeah, but as an employee with a limited company, you're allowed a phone, 100%. Anyway. So yeah, duality of purpose for me. For example, for me as an accountant, I wear suits for my meetings. I can't claim that back that's not tax deductible for me because there's a duality of purpose. I can still go to the club or go to a wedding in that same suit. So if there's a personal aspect of the purchase or I'm personally benefiting, then I can't claim it.
Is that? Can you argue that? Can you put a case that if they were to investigate and they say actually this, can you say, well, no, because this, and this? Is there any?
So that's what happens in an inquiry. They will come check out your records. You give them reports or bank statements or logins to your software. And if they disagree with something, they'll say prove it. Basically, they'll say I want further information about these expenses or turnover, whatever they're inquiring about. And then you give them the information. They still disagree, and you can argue it. You can argue it at the end until the end of the year, or you just pay the tax relief back.
Okay,
20% of the expenses.
I've got a question about monthly payments. So I'm signed up to like a call diversion thing where I've got a Redditch 01527 number. And it diverts to my mobile.
Virtual landline.
Yeah.
Virtual landline.
Yeah. So I pay about £11 a month for that. Do I take the total for the year and put it as an expense, or do I put it in my spreadsheet like every month? Yeah.
Well, if you're tracking it monthly for different reasons to see how much profit you make, then you put it in monthly. For your tax return, the way you prepare books and accounts is on an accrual basis, which means on an invoice basis. So it's whatever. If that's £11, if you had to pay £120 for the year, regardless of if you used it, then you'd just claim the 120 in a year. But if you don't claim the £120 because you can cancel it right after your financial year. So if you had it for only 1 month in your tax year, and then the next month is in a new tax year, you only claim for the £11,
right? Because
you use £11 worth of that expense.
Yeah, and it's tax year. It's not from when I took it out 12 months later. It's tax year, April to April. Yeah. Okay, wicked. Thank you. Are you all right for a bit, or do you want to call it soon? Or you got 2.5 hours in? How are you feeling?
Oh, is that how long it's been? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It does not feel like that. I could talk about this all day and night. I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right for a second.
Okay.
I'm just gonna check how the kids are doing. I'll message you.
Yeah, no worries. If you need to go have a little break, that's absolutely fine as well. Could you not just do that for fuel then, instead of saving all your receipts? What are we talking about?
I think it means, can we not just use the bank transactions instead of the receipts?
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about that. You want to really you can't, because how do you know that? Where's the proof that that bank transaction is for fuel? You can still spend £20 at the fuel station without it being fuel.
Yeah, that's a good point. Best
to always keep receipts.
In my first 4 years, I've reinvested everything and haven't needed to pay much tax because the annual investment allowance. Accountant is telling me that forming a limited company is the right thing to do now for tax reasons. What are the benefits? We've sort of gone through that early on in the stream, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we've touched on it first at the start, and then I've also added points about throughout the stream. So
it might be worth watching the VOD when this gets uploaded after we're finished. If you've joined a little bit later. I live in the Netherlands and I'm 15 years old. I have a question about bleach. How do I use it and what's it used for?
Don't drink it.
I'd suggest probably looking into some YouTube videos about sodium hypochlorite. This probably isn't the format that we're gonna get into that sort of stuff at the moment, but do your research. Don't just go spraying bleach around. But good that you're here asking the question, though. Congrats on being a 15-year-old potential business owner.
Definitely.
I mean,
never too young.
Yeah. Charging customers, if PayPal Zettel takes £5 from a £200 transaction, do I put £200 on my turnover or £195?
So yeah, that's what I mean. You should be really, because of especially if you're under the VAT threshold, the £200 is your turnover. You just have a £5 cost to collect it. So your profit's £195 on just those two transactions, but your turnover is £200.
I'm guessing computers used at home can fall under the category as well.
Duality of purpose. So with home office expenses, something that accountants miss all the time because it costs. I mean, it takes time to figure out how much we're allowed to claim for, so people just don't tell the customers. You claim a percentage of your home, how much it costs to run the home, and we have to have a good argument as to why we're claiming that specific amount. So if, like for you, for example, you have all this going on your live and your Discord, so you have to manage that from home. So you actually work from home more than a normal person who's just pressure washing and doing some sales at the end of the day. So for you, we'd claim more, and you have to figure out how much a home costs, figure out how much room space of the house that you use, and then the percent. Well, let's say if it's like 20% of the house you use, like it's based on rooms, but say 20% is what you use for your what you're doing now, podcasting. Then you claim 20%, but then you also reduce that amount by how long you're doing of the day there.
Right.
So for me, I'll be able to claim more because I actually work here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going out pressure washing and coming back and then doing it. So you'll claim more than the average person, but then I would claim more than you, for example.
Yeah. So it's about it's not only about the percentage of the time used, but it's also about physical space in the house as well.
Yeah, it's based on rooms really. But then also if you own your home and you say that you have one room specifically for that purpose for your business, then there is also capital gains issues. If you say if you use one room, because you lose some of your private residence relief.
Right. So it's also a bit of a grey area as well when it comes to things like internet, isn't it? I suppose, because if I'm using,
it's all the same as that. Yeah, it's all. You work out how much does it cost to run your house rent.
So I would have thought like the easiest way to have done it for me would have been the most sensible way that I can think of. Well, okay, I've got 100% worth of internet usage. Probably 30-40% of that is used towards the business. So can I not just claim 30% of that internet bill? Is that not how it works?
You can if you can justify that. That's how much you're using.
Right.
Like when you started it, did it jump by 30%, for example? But from home office, you just work out how much your home costs: internet, broadband, rent. If it's £2,000 a month or whatever, and you use it 10% of the time, £200.
Right.
If
Okay.
you know,
So you
it's something very often missed. It's very easy. I like when I take on new clients because I can always. That's a very quick win for me.
yeah.
So but there'll be some people I haven't done that for. If some of my clients are in there yet, because it's just all part of the onboarding process.
There's probably so many little details like that that's going to potentially save someone quite a bit of relief on their tax.
Especially bigger companies, because it's always they're paying higher rates. I have actually just got to jump off now. My daughter's ready to be put to bed.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
She only lets me do it, so
no worries at all. I really appreciate your time. This has been very insightful for all of us.
No problem at all. Yeah, if you want me on again, then I'll jump on anytime. Mate.
Yeah, definitely happy to do it. Where can people find you? Socials, website?
CB Figures Limited is Facebook. I'm also going to be started an Instagram, and I have an Instagram, but I'm going to be posting short videos also with YouTube as well. So you can find me. You just follow my page on Facebook, and I'll update everything on there. Or get into my website and drop me a call or an email, or fill out the form, and I'll get back to you within the same working day.
Yeah, wicked. That's very cool, very helpful. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, mate.
No problem, mate. Good to speak to you.
And you.
Take care.
Have a good night. See you in a bit.
See you later, mate. See you in a bit.
How good was that? That was. How useful is it to have someone that's got experience in exterior cleaning and is also a fully qualified accountant? That's not your average mix of skills, I don't think. Sorry if we didn't get to everyone's questions. That was great. Cheers, Connor. It's been nice to get kind of back up to date on the new accounting procedures. That sounds confusing for a few £100. If anyone had any questions early on that we've missed, because I understand that I've never really, I don't know much about Connor. We never really, we met once at the expo, the cleaning expo, and he's been in the Discord, but we've never really had a proper full-on conversation one-to-one. So that was the first time really getting into it. Hope everyone's gained something from that. I definitely have. I think I'm going to call it there. I'm going to play a little advert and then I'm going to shoot off. But working on some videos, doing some sponsored stuff as well. We've got some interesting projects coming up, so keep an eye on the YouTube. Go and have a look at my Instagram if you're not already followed. Smelts Pressure Washing, and also Facebook, Smelts Pressure Washing. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit. Now, these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit, on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels. We've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have two other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment, there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go, new videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching. Back to the video.